Every stylish guy knows what takes an outfit from good to great is the attention to detail. And nothing completes a look like the right belt. You know what ruins a great outfit fast? A worn out belt that doesn't fit right. Most guys are still rocking belts with stretched out holes that either pinch your waist or sag and throw off the whole look. That's why I'm excited to partner with today's sponsor, Anson Belt and Buckle. This family-run company has been around since 2009 and they've completely reimagined how belts should work. Instead of holes, Anson Belt uses a micro-adjustable track system with quarter-inch increments. That means you get the perfect fit every single time. And once you feel that kind of comfort and precision, you'll never want to wear a traditional belt again. The best part, you can mix and match every buckle with any strap. One box set gives you 9 different belt combos, so you'll get to maximize versatility with way less clutter in your closet. But this isn't just about style, it's about feeling more comfortable, more confident, and more put together every time you get dressed. Anson Belt moves with you, so whether you're sitting, standing, or on the go, you're always comfortable and always looking sharp. I've been wearing mine nonstop, and honestly, it's the best belt I've ever owned. Once you try it, you will see exactly what I mean. You won't go back. And here's why you can trust them. They're still proudly family owned. They've earned over 40,000 5-star reviews, and every belt is backed by a lifetime guarantee on functionality. They stand behind every product they make, and once you try one, you'll understand why. And because Anson Belt and Buckle is sponsoring today's video, when you click the link in the description or scan this QR code to build a box set, you'll get 2 bonus pieces, a buckle and a strap completely free. That's 3 buckles and 3 straps, which you can mix and match into 9 unique belt combos all in one box. It's an exclusive deal you won't get anywhere else, so click the link, build your set, and upgrade your belt games today. It's go time. What's going on, family? How you doing? Welcome to Lapeef Let's Talk. Let me go ahead and introduce the crew who we got right now. We got Trey Smooth, Lisa, Summer, Sweeney, Josie, me, myself, and Lapeef JR. What's going on, family? How you doing?
Hi.
There we go.
It's not dry. How y'all doing? Let's try this again, man. I know y'all ain't working tomorrow. How y'all doing?
Good.
It's very good not to work tomorrow.
Can't complain. Actually, I got to work tomorrow.
Okay.
I do too.
Okay, well, let me try this again. Just liven up, man. Just be thankful that you're alive. We got some more people rolling through, so you should see some people coming through periodically, but I wanted to go ahead and make sure I start the show on time today. So I'm trying to do something better, man. In this almost fourth quarter, we're in third quarter. In this third quarter, man. So we're gonna start on time. So whoever here is here, and then we'll do it like that. Let's make sure we mute in between, so we can reduce the feedback. If you guys haven't already, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's see who we got in the chat. What's going on, Dale Matthew? How you doing? We also got Dory G. Dory G, you everywhere. You are everywhere, man. Good to see you, man. And excellent job yesterday on the show as well. Let's see who else we got. Sophisticated Jerk. How you doing? Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Nike. How you doing? I always like that name. That's a unique way to spell it. N-Y-K-E-E. Nike. Jimmy Devon. How you doing, sir? You guys come in again, hit that like button. If you are catching us on the replay, hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. So we got an excellent show for you guys. Modern Men, Unhinged. Female Misandry. That's Sweeney's favorite word, man. I believe that's the first time I heard it. Misogyny, the other version of it, I guess. And Men's Issues Exposed. So I'm looking forward to this discussion. Let's have an honest discussion, man. Let's make sure we see if we can get to the root of some of these topics. Sound like a plan? What's going on, lady?
Yep.
Absolutely. Let's do this.
Do a well-being check on lady. You good?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, you seem a little bit uptight. Just gotta loosen up.
No, I So I couldn't find my stand for my phone. That's why I didn't have my camera or my sound on, because I was running around trying to like find it, and then when I found it, it was broken, so I had to glue it back together.
Okay. All right. So it's all good now. You need some tape or?
Yeah, I got it now. I got it. I
Okay.
got it on there. I stuck it back on.
Yeah, you might have to contact Amazon. I think Amazon work tomorrow. Might be able to get you
Yeah,
a quick fast
that too.
delivery, man. I want you over there struggling. Anyhow, we're gonna go ahead and get it started. Some are just all smiles, huh?
Most of the time, yes.
I got you. I'll take it most of the time. What's going on, Sir Greystoke? Janelle Washington. Sweeney, what you over there watching? I don't think no sports on unless you're doing baseball.
Sweeney, don't say it. Don't say
Love
it. You're on
Island.
YouTube.
You watching Love Island?
I think he intentionally muted. He didn't want us to hear what it really was.
Yeah, don't say it,
What the
Sweeney.
hell is
You're on
Love
YouTube.
Island?
Oh, because I was gonna say that's what everybody's watching right now.
I don't know what that is, man.
It ain't no shame in watching Love Island.
I've been binge watching Supernatural, so
Oh, okay. Y'all really don't watch Love Island though? Like for real, for real?
I've never heard of it.
Y'all haven't seen it all over like TikTok and Instagram and everything?
No, what is it?
It's like the new version of how like back in the day, y'all remember Flavor of Love? Everybody used to be stuck on Flavor of Love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Love Island, but like for 20-something-year-old like influencers and models, and the girls and the guys, they're in Fiji
Is
trying to
that on
find
Netflix?
love. It's great. It's
Oh.
Is
great.
it on Netflix?
Peacock. It's on
Oh,
Peacock.
nah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, shout out to Love Island, man. Yeah, Dale Matthews says get the
Sounds
likes up,
fun.
man. Get the likes up. Hit the like button, y'all. Y'all just coming in. Don't be disrespectful now. All we ask is just to hit the like button. KP from KC5, what's going on? It's my first time seeing you. Welcome. Let's go to get this show started, man. I'm gonna run this clip. I am gonna put the time on. Like, I kind of want to spend maybe like 15 minutes total on each one of these clips so we can get through it. So I probably may periodically put the timer at the bottom while I'm on here, at least, because if I got to draw down the bottom, then I'll just do it from behind. As far as the time, you got to watch what I say because these brothers will be on it.
pause.
Looking for it. Looking for it.
Pause is just for the fellas, right?
Yeah, it's just
Us
a
ladies
time
don't
span.
have to say no pause.
Yeah, ladies can't say anything that we have to pause for. We can
Okay,
say
good.
anything. We can say like the worst stuff ever, and it'll never need a pause.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
There you go. Ladies get a pass for that one. So we'll go ahead.
Yes.
So I'm gonna play this clip. I think I broke it up in enough time. You know, Darwin ain't got on here yet because he'd be like, "Man, it's a long clip." So just make sure y'all paying attention. I think it's good. It helps when it's a good clip that you guys can actually pay attention to. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this clip, and then we'll go ahead and get into it. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, here we go. I like that. Something. I love your energy.
My energy?
Yeah, I love your energy. Yeah.
I'm surprised I have some.
Okay.
I start my day at 3:50, so hey.
In the morning?
Absolutely.
Oh wow. Okay. That's what you call discipline. All right, here we go.
So oblivious to the realities and perspectives of what young boys and men are going through. You don't get it that for many men, they don't see feminism. Doesn't matter if they don't have the great working definition of it. Their experience of all these people who claim that identity. You don't actually care about equality. That's a woman advocacy movement, or at least was up until recent debates about who can or can't be a woman. But prior to this debate, it's always been for many people, and particularly many men, it's more so a women advocacy program, which is totally fine. But you cannot say that you care about men and that you're advocating for equality. And I'm going to list these things off, and I wrote them down to make sure I don't forget it. You don't care about mandatory paternity tests. You don't care about paternity fraud. You don't care about male suicide rates. You don't care about equalizing hard, laborious jobs outside. You don't want to equalize that. You don't care about what happens to people that are falsely accused, which is almost always exclusively men. You don't actually care about the declining school performance, the rise in ADHD diagnosis, and the psychiatric medication that comes from it. You don't care about the lack of homeless shelters for men. You don't care about the weaponization of the family court and the equal custodial rights, reproductive say for men, reduction in child support and alimony, pathologizing of just men and masculinity in general, negative attitudes towards even men that want a nuclear family. You don't think or care about any of these things. And I'm not even saying it's just the feminists that don't care about it.
Nobody
I'm
cares.
saying most people who don't do what I do don't care about this at all. And you're creating, and we talked about this 80-20 rule. What's happening to the 80%? You don't care.
Not good.
And the beauty is if I just get the man I want, if I just get the partner I want, if I just I don't care about what's happening with men. Let's bring the attention back to women. That's what the detective did in that show.
Right.
And that is what society in Western cultures is unfortunately like. Most people only care about males or boys or men if they are their brother, their son, or their father, or their uncle, or their close friend. This society, in the quest to be fair to women, to improve their rights, allowed the worst representatives to take it to its furthest extreme.
Right.
When we talk so much about misogyny, most women can't tell you what the term is for a strong distaste and hatred for men. What's the term? What's
Misandry.
Misandry. Being a misandrist. Most men's experiences that we keep labeling as incels, we keep labeling as misogynists, their experiences in coworker situations, in the schools, dating, on dating apps, is that a lot of women are either misandrous or they're so reductionistic of men that if you don't have the money, you have no say and you need to shut up. And even if you do have the money, it's happy wife, happy life once I'm in your life. I done told my wife, we joke around about it all the time. When we're amongst other couples and friends, she sarcastically say all the time, the one thing I appreciate about Jeff more than anything is he's the same exact person in home as he is in public. Right. He doesn't change. So if I'm going to say no, I'm going to say no. If I'm going to disagree, I'm going to disagree. And men not going through the natural maturation process as teenagers, as early adults, because they literally don't have the opportunity to with women. We can't be shocked anymore that there's an environment that's festering of boys and young men who unfortunately have a strong distaste. And I would argue, not even for women in general, women in the Western cultures and countries.
Yeah.
This is why they're running to the other countries and cultures where men are at least still seen as valuable, relevant, important.
No, I think, I don't bring a point.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop it there. Miss Lasia, I'm going to start with you. I seen you breathe in and I caught you on the exhale. What are your thoughts about what you heard thus far?
Caught me on the exhale is crazy. Am I going to give this my am I choosing nice, or did I wake up today and I just chose flat out honesty? Because that's two different responses. Because me being flat out honest wants to just kind of be like, who cares? Like I'm sorry. I don't have it in me to like give a damn. Like when he summed it up with oh, that's why the men are going to the other countries. And it's not like I can't speak for other women. I'm speaking for myself. Like if I was a single woman and I walked out into the world, it is not a shortage of men because I am a married woman and it's not a shortage of them. Like it's not hard to find a man who is like sitting around having these conversations where they're just like, Oh my God, you're so right. Let me change everything about myself or how I believe because men are going to other countries. Men don't want me. Oh my God. Like the men that are sitting there saying, we don't want you. Okay, cool. Let's focus on the other 80% that do. I don't understand why, like, everybody wants to sit around and tell a woman that she needs to act a certain way because men won't want her. Maybe that man won't want you, but I don't know. Like, I'm not seeing how, like, it's just got to be this deep dived into thing. Like, and I also feel like that's not what feminism was ever about. It was never about, do we care if we're striving to get exactly what men have? It was never about that. The feminism movement was only about getting equal like rights, equal pay, equal representation. When it comes to like work, no, you're damn right. I don't want your sledgehammer outside sweating in the heat job. You don't want it. Why should I want it? I don't think anybody wants that. I don't think that's a feminist thing. Like, we've got to stop like doing these extreme sides to things. Like, men hear feminists and they think, well, if you want equal, everything needs to be equal. No, she can say which part she wants equal. And like, if you also want to be real about it, that privilege that women feel like they have wasn't part of the feminist movement. That was built from the patriarchy. Men gave us those privileges to pick and choose and to be coddled and to ask for it our way and happy wife, happy life. All of that stemmed from men. So if men are so tired of things, like, why are they talking to us about it? They built it. They have the opportunity to change it. Don't talk to us about it. Change it. Do something about it. Leader. That's just how I feel. I'm tired. I'm
You
tired.
just
I'm
proved this
sorry.
entire. You just proved
Oh
this
my
entire
God.
point in like 3 minutes flat.
That's
Right.
really how I
That was
feel,
And
though, y'all.
and
It
you know what's fun?
and
is.
And you know what's interesting? This kind of goes back to last week. And what you just said this week is far worse than what you said last week.
Which is what? What did I say last week?
Last week you at least said that you would sign a paper. This week you flat out just told me
Oh,
you
I
don't give a
would, but I'm
shit.
not like I said last week, I'm not marching in the streets. I'm not putting in this massive
No. But
effort for it.
the thing is that you basically just told us you don't give a shit. And you heard all that that man spoke for at least 5 straight minutes. And you
Yes.
listened to all that, and all you took away from it was passport
Yes.
bros. So
I
you didn't hear
I
none
was
of the
tired of
issues.
that. I was tired of hearing
He
about like
he only heard,
feminist means we need everything to be
wait.
equal.
Slow down. All the stuff he mentioned that men go through,
Mm-hmm.
all the issues that men go through, and all
Mm-hmm.
you heard was passport bros.
No, what I heard was him talking about it to women. What does
What
he want us to do about it?
he didn't
If he's saying men are
hold
going
on,
through it, then get your
wait.
brothers together and make a
Wait.
manist movement. I don't.
So if that's the case, then why do y'all come to us about y'all issues? If we can't come to the women that we supposed to rock with and talk to them about the things that affect us in real time, in real life. The 80, you talk about the 80%, the
Mm-hmm.
stuff that he was talking about that men go through is the 80%. That's what men go through every single day. And if we can't come to you as who's supposed to be our counterpart, who's supposed to be the person that walks this road with us and talk to you about the things that we go through in life, then what fucking use are y'all?
What is it that a bunch of like, cause see, I guess this is where I'm at with it, right? And I could be coming from a place of like clips like that is what I've been hearing literally for 21 days in a row, where like for the last like 4 days, I just refuse to get on social media at all because I'm tired of it bombarding me. It's not that this man seemed like he went to women that he felt he could express this to because they would give a damn. It's that I like in that clip, I saw exactly what I felt like I've been dealing with personally for days on end. Random men on the internet making it seem like what I'm doing in my life is their personal issue and I need to take some accountability from what they're going through. Like, sir, I don't know you. It would be different if the men on this panel said, sis, this is what I'm going through. Will you hear me out? Yeah, y'all have been nothing but kind to me. I care about y'all. Like, that's cool. But like the idea of random men thinking that random women need to take accountability for things like paternity fraud. What do you want me to do about that?
Don't
I
y'all
just said I would sign it, but
hold
would
on
I
a minute.
march in the street?
Don't y'all
No.
expect
I'm kind of just,
us to
I'm
take
fed up.
don't y'all expect us to take accountability for the shit that men do to y'all every day? You sat here and just said how every single day you hear about men's issues that they come to you for, and I'm assuming that you hear this shit on TikTok. Considering the fact that TikTok is a feminist, is a feminist slanted platform. Do you know how often I hear y'all talk about y'all issues into the ethos to men and everybody alike?
But I'm not saying just for women. I'm actually saying like we all as a people need to stop going to random people and trauma dumping.
It's not going to random people. Social media is what social media is. That's where people come together and exchange ideas and messaging. That's what we do. If that wasn't the case, why are you on TikTok? Because you're on there every single day.
That's the
and
crazy
you talk
part.
about the same shit that we talk about every single day.
Sweeney, I don't be talking about that shit.
I'm on TikTok right along with you, and I see you all the time in all the same discussions.
And I be wanting to, like, my thing just be like, sometimes I want some positivity. I want a key. I want to be able to like go on social media and it be like a laugh, not a gender war, not a race war, not like do we have to get on there every day and talk about like?
Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you said what you said to us in that about that video? When was the last time you went on one of the women's panels on TikTok and told them, I'm so fucking tired of y'all complaining?
2 days ago. No, 3, because that's when I decided I wasn't getting on TikTok no more.
All right. Go ahead, Lady Di. Let's do Lady Di now. Okay. I'm gonna come back to you. Okay. Go ahead, Summer.
All right. So I feel like I'm the newest one to this panel. So, you know, as I was listening, you know, men's issues are kind of near and dear to my heart. I think here in the last maybe 3 or 4 years, I've just kind of been doing a little bit more care and concern research centered around like men's issues. I do counseling. I'm a therapist. I have a lot of men that come my direction. And so I deal with the men who are suicidal. I deal with the men who deal with feeling inadequate, don't know how to necessarily, I'm sorry, I'm moving out of the frame. Don't know how necessarily how to navigate the social conditioning that has been so pervasive. And, you know, for me, when he ran down that list, I was like, whoa, you know, there are some things that I just really hadn't considered. It really hasn't come across my table. It just really highlighted for me the need that's there, and the cry of the heart of the men to try to collaborate with us women to figure out how we can get on some solid ground. And so I think, you know, for me, these are really real issues. These are real issues that need to be attended to. These are real issues that have been set forth, you know, for many generations. I think the woman that was speaking before talked about the patriarchy putting some things in place, you know, religion putting some things in place. Even I think about that and how that's really influenced the way that men manifest themselves and the way in which we as women work with our men. So I just have, you know, I think for me right now, I just want to highlight the fact that these are important issues. They need to be addressed so that we can reduce some of these stresses on our men. And I think that we have a powerful position, just like men have a powerful position in our lives to speak from a different vantage point, to be able to come together and figure out some possible solutions. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with this, but I'd love to listen to more of the discourse between people regarding this issue. So, yeah.
Okay. Like that, Summer. Let's go ahead and get, let me get Trev in there. Trev, you ready? Maybe not. I'll go to Josie, then I'll come back to Trev.
I basically agree with everything he said. So it's just the way that some women treat the men, I don't agree with it. So yeah, I don't have much to say. I agree with everything. Totally.
Okay.
Brothers, fathers, uncles. So, and I used to be a tomboy. I used to have male friends. And so I know what they go through. I hear it. So I understand everything. So I agree with them as well, too.
I thought that was a mic drop you had.
Oh, no.
On the camera. I said, damn, okay. So is there anything that was mentioned that you didn't factor in? I know Summer said some of the things she didn't really consider as far as what men go through. Did anything catch you off guard? I know you agreed, but did you learn anything based off of what he said? Or that had you to further think about like your position or maybe some advice you may give somebody?
Not really. All I can say is that women need to do better, and start listening to the men, and things could be like a lot better and easier instead of going against them. Because the problem is that a lot of women are masculine. They're not in tune with the feminine side. So that's the only thing that I can think of right now. But everything he said, I agree. I mean, it's the different age that we live in. So I'm an 80s baby, so I don't agree with a whole bunch of things that's going on right now. So I was raised a lot different, and my morals are a lot, I would say, it's a lot better than what's going on right now,
Okay. All right. Trev, you ready? Who was that? Go ahead, Summer. That was you?
Yeah. I had. So I think at the very foundation, what's needed in order to have some movement in this area seems like a sense of safety for the men to be able to bring these issues across our table. We ask for that as women, and I don't think that we realize how much men do need a sense of safety as well, to be able to express their concerns, to lay these burdens. He talked about laborious jobs, right? There's some things we wouldn't do as women, and how grateful I am, when I think of like the men that will go and serve our country. I know there's women that do that as well. But the courage and the strength and the fortitude, and all that they have to put into that sacrifice is appreciated. And yet, when they come off the battlefield, they've had to compartmentalize so much and return home. And it just makes me wonder, is there the level of safety for them to be able to express themselves, to us, so that some of those burdens can fall off their shoulders? So I think that we really have to work to provide that atmosphere of safety to be able to talk about these issues with our men, to initiate the discussion with them, because if they're not going to bring it up, because, a lot of that conditioning, speaks to them having to compartmentalize, shut off parts of themselves, abandon certain topics, in order to try to safeguard their family or protect their woman from extra stresses. So I just think we could offer a little bit more in terms of that, emotional safety to, grapple with some of these things.
Okay. Go ahead, Trev.
Yeah. So the dude nailed it pretty much. I certainly agree with everything that he had to say. And what people just don't understand is there's not a lot of empathy or compassion or general give a fuck about what's going on with men in general. And maybe it's assumed that most men can take it because a lot of women, when they hear dudes like voicing their opinions, they generally roll their eyes, scowl. Oh, he sound like a bitch. All of that, you get all of that. Those are your responses. So, but then those same women will say that the man has no emotional intelligence and he's an ineffective communicator. But when men try to voice their opinions and their gripes, then they'll say, "You're whining. Shut up. You a man." So I get that part of it. There's a lot of men who suffer in silence. A lot of things are unsaid. There's men now, male advocates like the homeboy you saw up there. Their brother's doing this thing, and they're voicing these opinions because it's important, because of the deletion rate that he discussed, because of the neglect that men experience. And a lot of people don't check up on men. Sometimes we don't even check up on our own homies sometimes, right? We just have to check in sometimes because you don't know how that person is doing. You don't know that daily struggle that they're dealing with, and the lack of sympathy that he's going to get in his lifetime. We just have to be more aware of it, more cognizant of how we treat people. We don't really care. There's a lot of men who are totally ignored. Women don't know how that feels like. So for the most part, unless there's something terribly wrong with you. So I understand why you may not really grasp that perspective, but men don't garner the same attention that women do. There are many men who are just lonely and have no one to turn to, right? And it's embarrassing. I've helped a lot of men who are struggling with these things, and it's terrible. Sometimes you have to pull them out of a serious rut because they're not, we are pressured to perform. People don't understand the magnitude of the pressure that men are forced to handle and are supposed to take it like a man, pause, every day. That's what we're supposed to do. We are not supposed to cry about it. We're supposed to shut up. We're supposed to do everything. Our responsibility is there. You a man, go ahead and do it. And when we fall short, we are ridiculed, ignored, everything. Some things we can't even help. So I would just encourage women who are not listening to the men to just try to put yourself in those shoes, just exercise that perspective a little bit we always talk about, and try to really understand men.
All right, go ahead, Lady Di. Are you still not?
No, I'm good. Sorry. I was gonna say to Laisha, since she brought up the point, like there'd be a lot of women that be complaining online about postpartum depression, being a single mom, and all this stuff. We actually been online talking about a whole bunch of drama for years. It's nothing new. But when it comes to that, I know you don't have that same energy with us. You wouldn't say that, right?
Can I tell you the honest truth? There's only so much I can take of that too. Like I have my own like social battery, social meter type thing to where like the fact that like so I recently monetized on TikTok where I like started trying to make money off of it, but I'm noticing that like I can't listen to people talk about the same stuff every day. And what is also very discouraging is like when you're coming on a platform to talk about it and you're a solution based type of person, I would be fine to listen to men say, this is what's going on. This is what I'm going through. This is the issue I'm having. But if you ever notice, once you come on a panel and you try and give a solution, they just want to keep arguing. You don't have anything good to say. You're not trying to reach a solution. Like, I get frustrated. Like, and it would be the same thing with women. Cool. You want to express your postpartum depression. I've had it. Would anybody up here know that? No, because I'm not going to sit here and just talk about it all the time. I have no desire to get on my phone, a space where I'm supposed to be able to be like, let me go watch this funny video. Let me go learn this TikTok dance. Let's just kiki for a second And no, that's not just a woman thing, because I saw somebody saying that in the comments. No, women don't just deserve to kiki. Men do too. Men deserve to kiki and laugh. And just turn it into, this was a space for us to kiki. Now it's like, let's just have a gender war every day. Every day is a lot, Lady Di. It is. It's a lot. That's all I'm saying. Like, it just seemed like we're getting on the internet and expecting random strangers to see our point of views. If they don't see our point of views, we want to cuss them out. We want to tell them that they're part of the problem. We want to tell them that they owe us some type of sympathy and empathy. They don't. They don't. If a man told me right now he didn't want to hear about whatever postpartum I had, whatever pregnancy issues I've had, whatever marital issues I've had, whatever weight issues I have, anything that a woman wants to talk about. If a man said, hey, I just heard about that for the last 2 weeks, could you shut up? What would I do? What would I say to that? What would I say to that?
You would snap off on them.
So it's two things. Like
I wouldn't though, Swinny. The only time y'all have ever seen me snap off on somebody is when I feel literally like personally disrespected and attacked, in the sense of like somebody calling me out of my name or something of that nature, where they're trying to be like, oh, like the only time I've ever got disrespectful was when whatchamacallit called me like, oh, you little young bald-headed asshole. Yes. Well, I was like, okay, now that's going a little far. But other than that, no, like everybody has a right to be like, I've reached my meter point. Like, I wouldn't care if it's a man issue or a woman issue. I reached it. Like, and you would be okay for saying that to me.
I witnessed you snap off on somebody for being that dismissive of your feelings. I've watched it.
Where did I? Who was it? And what were we talking about?
It was one of them dudes on TikTok who was dismissive. It wasn't even you. He was just simply dismissive of the women's experience. There was another woman up there talking, and he was dismissive of it, and you went off on him.
I wish
he fucked around and got receipts.
I wish you could tell me.
I find it interesting how you never hear people talk about shut up. We don't want to hear about that shit. Specifically women. You never hear them say shut up. We tired of hearing about it until it's a man talking about some shit he's going through. As long as it's been women talking about what they've been going through, ain't nobody told them to shut up. Not nan woman told them to shut up.
Nope.
But now
I didn't even say shut up just now though. Like, I'm cool with talking about it. I'm just like,
you didn't just basically tell that man, I'm tired of hearing this shit. Shut up.
Certain parts.
Be honest.
Certain parts, yes, I am tired of. I'm not gonna lie. Like how you said I pinpointed the passport bro thing, because that part I'm literally sick of hearing. It's almost like somebody saying, oh, if you don't cooperate, I'm not gonna like you no more. I'm gonna leave you behind. Stop threatening me, bro. Do it. Stand on big business. That's all I'm saying. Like, I get tired of every time a woman, it's like we're having a discussion and I guess a man may feel like he can't get through to the women. Then he's like, that's why we're all gonna pack up and go find a woman in India. Like, you weren't packing up last week. You're not packing up this week. You're not packing up next week. Is that supposed to scare us? Like, that's where I'm at with it. Is any woman on this panel gonna tell me that like a man hasn't told you this is why we're getting passports? Okay, sir, you probably weren't the man that I was looking for anyways. I don't care if you get a passport. That's all I'm saying.
But it sounds like you're more triggered on what they're saying. Yeah, because that's what you're saying right now. At first it was, I don't want to hear it. I hear it every day.
Yeah, the entire sense of it. Yes, I hear certain things every day, but like, key things are becoming like draining to have to listen to.
Things. You don't like the key things, and it's making it seem like you don't care about people, because you mentioned when women do it, you don't give a fuck about that either. So you just don't like people. You're just a bad person.
No, I don't dislike people. I'm just over certain stuff.
Somebody be like, I want to jump. You're gonna be like, okay, well, do it. Like, I'm tired of hearing your shit anyway. Like, that's how you sound.
I don't mean it like that, but I am, y'all. It's becoming a thing where like every single day we're talking about the same exact stuff. Like, not we literally, but as a society, it's like we're always having, and then because you also have to understand how many women have we also heard like they get irritated and it's obviously coming from a place of irritation. So the first thing that they say to a man is, okay, then go date a man. Because guess what? They're tired. They are tired of you throwing out the insults and always trying to like point the finger. And if we can't agree, it's fine. We can't agree. But then being like, oh, we can't agree, so now let me try and like scare you into thinking you're gonna have 40 cats.
So okay, let's reverse it. Because we as women, we like to talk. We like to get our opinions and emotions out. Just don't matter online or not. If it was reversed and we couldn't express what we wanted, so like let's say the happy wife, happy life, that just means that a lady just gets what she wants pretty much all the time. What if we couldn't do that? We couldn't get nothing from our men, the husband, the boyfriend, the whoever you with. We can't get nothing from them. They're like, man, you're a female. I don't care what you want. Men rule the world. What you think is gonna happen?
I'm gonna find another man. What do you mean?
No, it's not a lot of
You're
men.
saying all the men?
There's not a lot of men that want you. So we're reversing the idea right now. There's not a lot of men that want you. It's a small percentage, which means when you walk outside, you ain't gonna be able to, catch one. You're not gonna do that. You're gonna have to really search, and now you're gonna be online. Like, dang, I want to get with a man, and you're gonna be complaining, just like what the men are doing. Like there has to be a solution.
And that's what I want to talk about. What you just said. I want to talk about the solution. I'm tired of talking about the issues and people always like trying to be combative and say like slick little shit and say rude little shit and act like everybody's got to be the problem but them. Like, okay, so now what? Let's talk about the solution. We never get there. We just keep going back and forth and we never get to a solution. And that's what I guess I'm ultimately tired of. I'm tired of having a gender war with everybody I get on social media with. And then at the end of the gender war, there's never like, okay, well, you got it all off your chest. You said all the things you had to say about men. He said all the things he had to say about women. Great. Do you feel better? Okay. So now can we fix it? How?
So
nobody gets to that part.
Can I interrupt?
If you're so exhausted and you can't hear the problem anyway, I think that's where I'm confused.
What are you getting on TikTok? Are you communicating to us that you're getting on TikTok for solutions?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, I guess, like
when you go on these debates or panels or whatever.
No, there are no solutions. Nobody even wants solutions on there. If you start talking about a solution, the views drop so significantly that they hurry up and start like the argument back.
But you're making it seem like you expect a solution out of these conversations. That's why I'm asking you, are you looking for that?
No, I'm not looking for one. I guess in my mind, the people that were having panels like on TikTok and stuff, I would assume that they wanted to have a panel because they were noticing an issue and they wanted to be like, hey, you guys are noticing this issue too. Let's talk to the opposite side. Okay, so you guys are the opposite side. Great. So what can we do now? But when you try and get to the what can we do now part of the conversation, I guess I'm getting so tired that I haven't been able to be on social media because I'm just like, nobody wants to get to the what can we do now. We just want to yell at each other. We just want to holler. We just want to go back and forth. Everybody just wants to be mean. And I'm drained. I'm drained. So when I heard that man say that stuff, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little triggered because I'm just like.
And you also stated that you wondering why people talk about the same stuff every day, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you see people repeating the same behaviors or doing the same exact thing over and over every day, why would you expect the conversations to be different?
What do you mean? Say it one more time. If I see people discussing the same things.
If you see people committing the same behavior that we talk about every single day, is there a reason why the conversation should change?
I guess not. I mean,
it's probably why they keep talking about it.
Yeah.
And I would argue that people that come into these spaces on TikTok and these panels like this right here are probably trying to showcase understanding the other side to it. or even confirm it. Like the reason why I host panels, I know what people are going to say, and I take some of my content to TikTok to confirm the opposition or different perspectives. So whenever I do go make content on YouTube, it's irrefutable. You get what I'm saying? So it's more like case study for me. I don't know what everybody else is doing, but a lot of times I try to understand the other side that I may not have the luxury to talk to, and often.
I mean, because I've even tried to like go so far as to, I'll scroll until I literally can't scroll anymore. That's what I was doing right before I decided to like just not be on TikTok for the last couple days. Like I scrolled until I couldn't scroll no more. I found myself on the side of TikTok, like in Japan, where nobody was even speaking English, but it seemed like they were arguing too. So I'm just like,
you said you was trying to make money on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
Did you wear that shirt?
No, this
well,
was
probably got to wear that shirt then. Maybe get some AdSense. I'm just saying. I think the guys can back me up. The ladies got leverage.
This is a very controversial shirt, though. I didn't want to wear this and offend the wrong people on TikTok either. So
Bruiser couldn't even see the words.
Bruiser, you know what's tripped out?
The fuck the police. That's what
I'm
the
gonna be
shirt
honest
says.
with you. If they see your frame, they're not gonna be reading the words. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a picture where some ass cheek was in the way, but it was a dog doing a cartwheel or some shit. Nobody even paid attention to the dog doing a cartwheel.
Hey, Bruiser, you want to know what's tripped out? She said she's looking for solutions, right? Well, our issues, right? Didn't we come up with solutions last week and all we asked for was their allyship and she gave us her ass to kiss?
I did not. I said, if y'all presented the petition, I would be in full support. I would sign it.
That's giving us.
I said I would sign it. I did. I said I would sign it. What I said was, it's the same thing Bo said. I'm not leading it for y'all. Like, I'm not going to stand on the front line and start it for y'all. But if y'all start it, y'all got my full support.
No, nobody asked you to start it. We asked for you to walk with us.
I said that. I said I
would. No, you said you would sign a piece of paper. That's your ass kiss. Because you want to know the tripped out thing? What? A lot of our issues in society have a lot to do with y'all. You and your sisters and your mama and your auntie and your friends and your cousins. The first line of defense that you could be is go to your homegirl that's doing her baby daddy dirty in the courtroom and say, hey, look, you shouldn't be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Because who is women more likely to listen to? Us or the sisterhood?
And I would argue if the lies wasn't as potent and as frequent as they was, we actually wouldn't even need y'all, or the conversation wouldn't be needed. Like, we wouldn't need you to march or help us if he was just being honest in those situations about the fact that man didn't sleep with you or even touch you or even impregnate you or whatever, or wasn't even around the time you were ovulating. I mean, I think that right there do a huge difference in the numbers or in those cases. Or just denying, like, just when like, I don't understand what it is about a woman when you know for a fact, like I know that is not his kid, but you still willing to collect the payments from him. Like, I just don't know what the moral side to that is in your mind, like, make you want to continue to do that.
But that was also a subject that y'all had to educate me on last week, because even Lady O, when she brought up how she said in like another state, the guy didn't have to sign he didn't have to put a signature for that lady to put his name on the birth certificate. I didn't know that those issues, like, yes, I knew that they exist, but y'all are talking about it like they exist in droves. And I can't say that they do or that they don't because I'm not around it at all. So I just can only take y'all's word for it when y'all are saying they exist in droves. So if you're saying it exists in droves and it needs reform, okay, I will support the reform because I didn't even know we had these problems.
Think about it. We live in a community that scams, do all kind of crazy stuff. And we're talking about America, where we're talking about a simple thing that you can get away with it. You don't think that people are exploiting this? There's so many people that's not even getting caught. We're just talking about what's being reported. Like, it's a nasty, like, it's probably like a damn sorority or some shit going around that we don't even know about on the black internet. What they call it? What they call it?
Black Twitter?
No.
Black market?
Well, just screw that. Just knowing that it's an exploit that can work.
Dark web.
The dark web.
Oh.
Against with the system, and the system turn a blind eye to it. You gotta imagine like that is happening on a scale that's so gross that it just begs the attention. And it's underreported because a lot of guys are just, there's so many guys that I've talked to that's like, you know what, man, that kid, I've been taking care of it for 15 years now. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I got 3 more years, man. I ain't even worried about it. It's all good. I've seen guys like that. I've been taking care of the kid 15 years. I love him. You know what I'm saying? This is my kid. Ain't shit I can do about it. But I asked him, like if you could have caught this like 10 or 15 years earlier, did you still have the same system? He said, hell no, I would have known. But man, there's so many guys that's just like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to deal with that shit no more. There's a lot of guys out there that's doing that.
I support whatever y'all need me to support.
And those are the unreported situations. Like,
I just have a limited amount of space to hear certain things, you know, like, and I'm not saying, because when y'all brought it to my attention, I would never sit up here and say that's a bold-faced lie, because I don't know that it is. I've never dealt with those type of problems. I don't know anybody that's dealing with those type of problems. So I would have no reason to think that these are the things that are going on. But if that was something that was presented to me, I know that that's the right thing to do. So I would support it.
You tired of the LGBT movement too?
Yeah, kind of, a little bit. And I'm part of the community because I'm a bisexual woman. And I'm still tired of it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't just have a sense of tiredness for like just men. No, I'm tired of shit that doesn't like make sense and that we got to keep talking about in general. Like, I'm tired of how like we're having these discussions about which bathrooms are people's bathrooms. I'm tired of us having these discussions about whether we're supposed to teach it in school or not. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I want us to just decide if they're going to use the bathroom, let them use the bathroom. Can we stop talking about it? Cool. Okay, cool. Like, if we're going to teach it in school, if we're not going to teach it in school, can we just stop talking about it? Like, let me know what we finna do. And when we get to the part where we're talking about what we finna do, great. I'm open ears again.
So you just don't care. Why don't you come up with solutions yourself?
I do have them.
You have kids. So
my biggest solution usually is like when I get tired, I just start minding my business.
No, but you mentioned the bathroom thing with the community. So you don't care that your kids are in a bathroom with mixed genders? Like,
I think that there should be a third bathroom option.
So that's a solution. Why don't you just say that and saying you're tired of hearing it?
Well, I do, but then they start arguing about how they feel excluded from our bathroom because they're not a third gender, they're us.
Let me ask you this, lady. Let's say
I don't know what to say to that. So then I just start minding my business.
Let's pretend that they open this third bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a straight man. Am I allowed to go in that bathroom?
No, that's the transgender bathroom.
Are the transgenders allowed to go into that don't even make sense. Hold on. So I
mean, that was the idea I had, that they have a transgender bathroom, a man bathroom, and a women's bathroom.
Let me ask you this.
Everybody has their own privacy.
Are the transgenders right now allowed to go in the man bathroom?
No. I don't know. Are they?
No, don't answer. If you don't know it, why would you just don't answer? Just say I don't know. And do anybody know whether a transgender right now today can walk into a men's bathroom?
The transgender
in school or just in general?
I don't care where they at. Just gender.
They can walk in any
transgender
bathroom.
Men could go
They could whatever when they want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever they feel. For them.
Yeah. Okay.
Got it. So she just said I can't walk into a transgender bathroom. You see how messed up that is? So once you create,
do you want to? Well, not you, but are people going to want to?
The point I'm making is once y'all create this thing for these particular people, Everybody else is banned. Why not ban them now? Why not treat them the way they're gonna treat us when they develop this third bathroom? You get what I'm saying? You see how it's just, it don't even make no sense to spend the tax dollars on something that's just gonna be specifically for somebody when they say everybody should be together and treated the same. It's
Well,
not.
I thought everybody was saying they didn't want the people in the bathroom.
I'm telling you,
I just
I'm preparing you
wanted
for
them to
what
have a bathroom.
I'm preparing you for it. What is gonna take place? They're gonna create that third bathroom, and it don't matter if you straight, T, whatever. Everybody gonna be using that damn bathroom. It's gonna be a waste of time.
Man, JR,
And
you
that's
gotta
where I
be
come back to the main solution was I just be tired and I just be like, I'm gonna mind my business.
JR, you gonna cue up the video, bro?
Yeah, we got another clip.
Hink in the basement with the $2. Sweeney, I told you, they don't really care about us. The OCPD coach with the $2. Good topic choice, y'all. Joaquin Rice with the 10. Women can pick and choose what they want when they want equality. Laisha proved women only want the benefits that come with being equal, but they don't want the responsibilities attached to doing it. Shown with the 20. Shout out to you, bro. I agree with what I'm hearing, but I'm pessimistic about the possibilities. Getting men to lower their guard and allow women an opportunity to be better in this area is tough. Most men gave you one crack at their vulnerability. Sean with the 10. Serious question. No shade or disrespect intended. Laisha, if you burnt out on men's issues, what's up? Why you slide? Dr. G with the $10. Laisha, you're not drained. Are they 2% or whole milk? Trey 5 with the $2. Laisha B got milk. You done with the $4.99. JR, I got a question for the panel. How do I contact you? Dr. G with the $5. Support black men like y'all support BBLs and baby hair.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and answer that question real quick. I am here because I think I
thought
could
you were
do.
gonna answer the group question. I was like,
First of all, it never gave 2% or whole milk. If anything, like nothing. I'm not even finna entertain that because y'all wild. But I feel like I'm here because
there's half and half. There's
I have opinions and I have bandwidth for stuff that makes sense. And I guess because I'm doing this along with Instagram, along with TikTok, it's becoming like an overload of men and their issues. And you also have to understand that whether people on here or in these comments realizes it or not, me probably being like one of the youngest people on here, my TikTok and my Instagram look significantly different. Like I'm listening to men that think the 1% that they're supposed to aspire to be is Future and NBA Youngboy. These are the men that are telling me they deserve submission and they want to argue with me. And I'm just like,
okay, I get that. From last
I'm
week,
overloaded.
When we was having a conversation, it may not have seemed like I was trying to get to a solution when I was discussing the difference between men and women, but I think that's where the solution lies, because you can't come to terms with someone if you don't understand the base that they're standing on. And a lot of times women will attribute their base to the same base that men stand on and then argue with us from that perspective. Like, I believe this, so you should be believing this too. And because you don't believe it, you're in the wrong. And men can do that as well. I think about things this way. And it seemed like I was trying to beat down her throat how different men and women are, but I needed her to understand that in order to progress the conversation. So not just her, but anybody that's watching can engage in the conversation from the stance of, this is the way men think and operate. It's different than how I think and operate. In order to get to a solution, I need to understand that exists and we could compromise here. But if I operate this way and try and force you to operate that way, I'll never be the woman you think I should be, and you'll never be the man that I think you should be. It just won't work.
So I only had one thing to say, Laisha, how you feel about that that whole burnout, and it's valid because I mean, you've expressed your point well. I do understand your perspective, but what I wanted you to know is that this is similar to the feeling that men have with life. That same drain, that same burnout, that same pressure. That is, you can, just how you feel right now, just understand that men feel like that about life on a regular basis.
And
I
as
can
I'm sitting
understand
back
that.
watching this dynamic and listening to you, Leisha, I also I hear you're overwhelmed. And I think when we're in a place of overwhelm, the very solutions that you're trying to find, you're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to in a place of exhaustion, because exhaustion is cutting you off from being able to hear the problem in the first place. That's being presented even today, because you're hearing it over and over and over again. And
Right.
so I think that's why we can't really move forward, because with your exhaustion standing in the way, it's cutting off the hearing. And so in order to be able to get to solutions, we have to have good brainstorming. We have to have the energy for curiosity. We have to have the energy to explore all of these different issues and challenges that men are having right now. So I don't know what that means for you in terms of being able to move you forward just for this panel's sake. But I think that, I do appreciate your ability to acknowledge that, out loud. And I think that it's, just that like this gentleman just said, that's something that is very similar to what the men, our counterparts, are experiencing. And so, and they're needing us to kind of stand in the gap and stay with them. And when they're feeling exhausted, that we might need to kind of step up and express that curiosity and help draw things out so that we can be able to get to solutions in a collaborative kind of way. So.
Roll that beautiful being foolish.
And they had no idea I knew about it. I'm doing this podcast and I see these comments all the time, and I was very aware of it. I've read a lot about it. They had no idea about it. And I'm like, you have teenage children and young adult children. How do you not know? How are you that ill-informed? I agree with you. To me,
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but you want to know what's crazy? When you're in a market and environment where both parents got to work long hours, and both parents are out of the home for extended periods of time, and both parents have to figure out so much, and you don't even have one parent that's like really super involved, versus they both are kind of got 40-hour work schedules, and one may have to do additional overtime, and the cost of living is exploding. It's harder than ever before.
Oh yeah.
For parents, men and women, fathers and mothers, it's a lot harder now. We are living in an area in New Jersey where our property taxes per month is the cost of most people rent across the world.
Yeah, of course.
Where our daycare is more than the cost for daycare for 1 to 2 kids is the equivalent of what 50 to 60% of people in the world make.
Yeah, of course.
So it's kind of difficult to be super duper involved and actually know what's going. You know what she saw? My son's home. He turns the light off when I tell him to turn the light off, and he doesn't get in trouble. He goes to school every day. He gets good grades. Parents are just surviving. Mothers, fathers, people are just trying to figure this. You know what I'm saying? Like this is. I'm not saying it's a complete. That like there's no. They get no fault. They get no blame. I'm just saying that the context for what we're in is what's also creating this type of dynamic and environment. So it's. And then lastly, I meant to say, the dynamic, why is this exploding and why is this so big in the UK? And why are these government officials getting all involved in this? I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you are a young woman or woman period, and you're thinking about, well, oh my gosh, this incel thing and all these men want to harm me and hurt me and do this or do that. A huge percentage of the boys and men that feel that way, there's a reason why they're leading the statistics of being 4 times more likely to take their own life.
Right.
They're actually far more of a danger to themselves
than to anybody else.
Even in a relationship. You take a woman who's in a relationship with a man and a relationship with a woman, her domestic violence rates is significantly higher with another woman than with a man.
Really?
DV rates are up, divorce rates are up when same-sex relationships between two women than her with a man.
I know. It's the highest
Yes.
divorce rate is lesbian couples.
Yeah, and so is the DV rate.
What's the D?
They should be having the most orgasms. That's unbelievable.
Domestic violence.
Yeah,
DV
okay,
rate.
right.
Yeah. So again, the show is so popular, it's so big, probably 250,000+ people are probably going to watch it. And now they're again adding to this narrative that the most unsafe you can be is dealing with and doing life with men or males. And what I'm arguing is a huge percentage of them end up taking their own life. A very, very small percentage of them, if they get successful enough, end up finding a suitable partner, or they're going abroad to find a woman who can meet their needs. So it's not to say that there's violence between men and women that doesn't exist. Of course, it's a thing. All I'm suggesting is that the show, there may be ulterior motives for why the show is being pushed. And whenever politicians or celebrities or anybody who's not a normal person jumps in on a wave, always be wary of what's the thing that they're pushing and what's the policy that's going to come down as a result of this. Is this going to be a social media crackdown? Is this going to be a monitoring thing where people have to register their social ID numbers or something in order for them to even have access to a website or have access to the internet? I'm going to argue this. Prime time, it's perfect to push something like this in a political environment when Gen Z and some millennials between men and women are splitting further than they've ever been. And then you have a huge pool of women who are looking for explanations to justify why all these men are splintering off and voting differently than us, thinking differently than us, going their own way, not wanting to marry women. There's got to be some explanation for it. And it can't possibly be because of our decision making, our hierarchy of what we're attracted to or not attracted to. It can't be us. It's got to be because they're all incels.
Right.
It's got to be because they just outright hate women. It can't possibly be because there's been an environment that's been telling them that we hate you. Can't possibly be that. It can't be society or culture or the colleges or liberal. It can't be any of those factors, or even how we treat the men who we think don't check off all about. It can't be none of that. It's got to be because of this Netflix series, and now we need a policy to deal with that.
Yeah.
That's the level of thinking that I want all of us to start to get better at when we watch anything on social media, anything on streaming services, because I would argue much of the things that's impacting us and influencing the quote unquote gender war is not even coming from in here. It's coming from what we're seeing on screens and on these computers.
You that Morgan Freeman, he's right, you know.
Hey, was the video they was talking about that Netflix series that went on in the UK about the young boy who ended up deleting the girl, and they say they had to go to social media to figure out. Has anybody seen that social media series? So it kind of sounds like what they, because it fits hand in hand with that. So in the series, it's a police officer trying to figure out why this like 12-year-old boy stabbed this girl to death, and in the series, they go through like all the reasons. You say what?
Adolescence.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. And it's in that show, the boy had a crush on a girl. She didn't like him back, or maybe she pretended to like him and then turned away from him, or something where he didn't. He wasn't getting the feedback he wanted from the women his age, and his social regulation was off. So instead of him just being heartbroken or going his own way, he lashed out, caught the girl, and stabbed her up. And then they show like the rage issues he was dealing with throughout it. And they tied it into like him being bullied and teased because he's being called an incel. And they said, matter of fact, the girl pretended to like him, then said something like ill and called him an incel. Yeah. And if he was trying to say that the incel movement or calling men incels will just create more rage within men, I think that probably when you look at a prepubescent to pubescent boy going through that change of hormones and trying to figure all that out with all the testosterone flowing, and women are shunning you, I would think that would be extremely difficult to deal with, and that could potentially cause huge social problems. It should be like looked into so that it could be some social changes that could help down. I don't know what exactly that would be. Maybe it would be like learning emotional regulation skills, or I know y'all don't agree with me, but I think one of the healthiest things that the young men have is being able to like interact with women their age and like matriculate through the process of dating so that they can have healthy regulation, because they've met different types of women they've been broken up with, or they weren't just the first woman that give me the chance. I fall deeply in love with her. She leave. I'm gonna take myself out, or I'm gonna go do something to her. Like all of that stuff, I think is signs of poor emotional regulation from inexperience.
Let me ask you this, White. Do you think that a person, a young boy who may just be an incel, but he never heard of the term, first watch that TV show for the first time, and what he see is a boy getting called an incel and the boy lashing out because of humiliation or whatever, you don't think that whenever he go out in the world and he gets called that, he might start to resemble the same response maybe to that word? That new word?
I think art can emulate life. I think life can depict art, or however you want to place it. So I think they feed into each other. I think that the idea to harm somebody who does you wrong is not a new idea. Maybe the execution on how he does it, like I saw this in a movie, is potential to be there, but more so, I wouldn't say it's the influence of that. I would say it's not having the ability to socially safeguard some of the things these young people is experiencing, especially when like you take something like bullying. Back in the day, the people that got bullied, there was a way they could shut it up. Like once they made it home, the bullying stopped probably until the next day. Now they can get bullied as long as they open their phone. Every couple minutes, the person that's bullying them, they ding, ding, ding. People texting them like, hey, I just seen XYZ. You know what I'm saying? So like the change in technology changes the landscape for adolescence. And if we don't have tools to like monitor effectively, help people navigate that, yeah, I think a lot of that stuff is gonna happen.
But I don't think that's not being socially inclined with the world. That's everything to do with in the house, like the parenting. So, for example, I'm gonna give you my real life example. I have a son who he gets upset at like his brothers or whatever. He'll start. At first, he used to attack them and would fight them, like beat them down. Then we stopped him from doing that because he's a lot older. And then now he started to cry. Right. So me and the dad, we work with that. We work with him on that every single day. This is just boys though. We're not talking about women. So imagine if he get a chance to get rejection from a lady, it would be the same damn thing. I think it's more of the parents that need to work on emotions with their child, because
he brought that aspect up in the video though, because he said parents are the wage for childcare for 2 kids is the price of a family's income in another country. He was talking about the expensiveness, how expensive it is for parents to actually be able to have one parent actively involved or dedicate to the children's life to be able to monitor those things. Like I could catch everything that's going on in my house. My wife can catch everything that's going on in the house, but they had to interact with these other kids, and these other kids don't have the same family dynamic in mass. Like it's not often you run into people who have one stay-at-home parent, or even 2 is extremely rare. You know what I'm saying? And our kids don't interact with these kids.
Well, I'm
like
not talking about stay-at-home parent.
You say what?
I'm not talking about stay-at-home parent. I'm not saying that the kid I'm talking about doesn't go to school. He's in school. I'm talking about what I seen before he started school. This is what he already showed us this early. And I think as parents, we got to pay attention more. Like literally be in their face and like see what they're talking about. Understand when they cry, why? Like, instead of being like, shut up, or whatever it is that parents do, they dismissive.
Did that dude just debunked or challenged the whole narrative that a household need 2 incomes if in fact what he's saying is if two kids, let's just say you have 2 kids, from his point, that is the equivalent, the daycare or expenses they're going to take care of them while you're at work is the equivalent of one of the person's income. So it's like, if you do the math, it's canceling each other out. So one could argue that if you have more than 1 kid, it don't even make sense for both of y'all to be working, because you're just canceling that other salary out when it comes to
I
50.
would agree, especially at a young age. The thing that people have to do is change the expectations on what life looks like. Because if you have unrealistic expectations on how far your salary can stretch, you can't do both. So you either have to prioritize your family and your kids, or trips and the other things that you show off online or impress your friends and family with. Like, for me, it's always been.
How are these other races living on less than? Because I know everybody say you got to have more 50K to take care of family. How are these other races that come into this country able to take care of their kids?
Because I just personally think it's because Black people are like the type of people that want to keep up with the Joneses. So when I was in school, if you didn't have on polo boots and a polo button down and like Levi jeans and et cetera, if you couldn't shop at Dillard's, if you couldn't shop at Hollister, you were poor. And when you have parents that are becoming parents sooner, they are a lot closer to understanding what that feels like. Because I feel like older parents will be like, well, that's not important and da 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 da. But when your mom is 20 years old and she feels like, oh, I had this kid young and I don't want nobody to think that because I had this kid young, I still can't do my big one. I'm gonna make sure I still go and get my child these Jordans. And Jordans are $200 something. So now we're spending that every month or every 2 weeks for a shoe or two, versus, the Asians and the whites are spending $30 on a pair of like Skechers or New Balance because it's not that deep for them. But we've always been kind of taught that like what we look like matters, making sure we look like we got it even if we don't got it. That's why you see Range Rovers parked in the projects.
I think that's a double. It's 2 sides to that argument, because I do agree that we often like try and show our wealth or prove that we're worthy in being in spaces or being just existing, right? The other part of that is sometimes you damn near have to, because dressing a certain way, say as a Black man, you go into a business dressed a certain way, you might not get help the same way. I've worn different outfits and gotten different responses from women, men, and establishments and the police. You know what I'm saying? So now they don't care about Jordans and all of that stuff. I'm not making an argument that you got to have Jordans on for them, but we're in a situation where it's a part low self-esteem or a part needing to prove something to others, and then another part of societal expectations create a issue that you can't individually solve unless you have hold on a second.
All right. We're going to get Lady O, some Josie in there. We haven't spoken in a while.
Okay. I was trying to catch on to what the guy was saying. I think it's about materialism. Unfortunately, reason why we can't raise our kids. We can't keep making excuses up as to why we are not raising effective children. Children need your time. That's just it is. That just is what it is. I was very young when I had all four of my children, and my kids, I could spend $200 on all four of their shoes. I never raised them materialistic that way. That wasn't my goal. Being neat, clean, you could dress the best, going to the thrift store, dressing really good. I know people with money and they go to the thrift store and dress. It's really your mindset. And if you and the thing is, you have to value something like an education as well. That'll teach you to not be so materialistic. And I think that when we look at needing two parents, look, somebody got to concede. Somebody have got to just say, you know what, you can work. I know when I was married, my ex-husband worked 2 jobs. I did not work while the kids were young, and they were, under school age. I do believe that the woman should be at home with the child. We keep making excuses. I know that guy was trying to make excuses on, well, it's 2 people in the home. 2 people, they both got to work and they both got to do this. And just like what Lash was saying, having these expensive cars, I'm a Range Rover driver, but I don't live in the hood. But I get what you're saying. They do that. They still trying to have these. You're trying to drive an Escalade with 2 kids instead of saying, let's get this minivan. This is going to be more cost effective for us. So I think it's the lifestyle is playing a role in how people are trying to raise their kids too. As far as us African Americans, we all about the show. We all about, if they got on Boss or if they have on, Louis Vuitton, that they got money. I look at them the total opposite because of where I raised my children at, and all mainly YT people. I specifically put them in YT school, whereas a majority of them, because I knew that with those kids having more money, they were less materialistic. I would go to big, humongous houses out in East Lansing, Michigan, and Okemos, anybody know about that area, and those kids be having little shoes and pay less, but they got a 7-bedroom house. It's really the mindset that we have as African American people, reason why we keep raising our kids to be what we, to be the way they are, and it hurts us the most. We can't just keep blaming money. We just can't. We can't. Kids need your time. Kids need that. I'm just saying.
Do y'all think this, whatever caused or compelled both parents to feel like, oh, we both got to have a purpose and we both got to go and work, inadvertently allowed the society to raise our kids? And now when we look at society and wonder why it's got different, our kids are more likely to not even follow our standards that come from our household, is because we've been conditioned to feel like we both have to be working to a passion or a purpose in order to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does is it causes us to not have the leverage over our kids' thinking, upbringing, and how they shape themselves into how they develop themselves into a human being.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't.
I was going to 100% agree with you, but it's like collectively we played a better than you game. Like as a household, if you didn't make this much money and you haven't taken this type of trip and you don't have this standard of living, then our collectively, and it's not just our community, in America in general, most communities will play the have and have nots game and then treat you according to that. So there are people who always say, I need to always be striving for my next level up, my next raise, my next plateau, at the expense of the family. And like we preconditioned to believe that leveling up is the thing that's best for the family, when it potentially may be, like you said, figuring out what emotionally regulation needs to be done so your marriage don't fall apart, or figuring out what your kids need so they have the proper guidance, as opposed to you could buy them a Range Rover, a Bentley, and have just kids that turn out really messed up because all you doing is placating them with lack of emotional support and being overly materialistic. And those kids, ironically, tend to value time, the one thing you will not be able to give them. It's ironic how like we kind of walk that tightrope between giving just enough that nobody's deficient, but also having enough time to, be present. Like I just went to the extreme and became extremely present. But I also know that it has to shift at some point. You know what I mean?
So I wouldn't
Right.
be wrong. I wouldn't be wrong if I said whatever movement compelled women or allowed, you can use whatever term, to leave the kids up to society or the daycare or whatever to raise your kids is causing most of the problems we have when it comes to YNs, kids not intact with their gender at birth and all this, whatever you want to call it. One can make the argument that if the mother was on top of it, I think mother was doing a good job at one point in history where none of that shit was even allowed to be instilled into the kid's head.
Mm-hmm.
So now we don't have anybody there. So the kids are vulnerable from here on out. And
Well, mama trying to, everybody, like you say, everybody, I got goals, I got to do this. Look, I was a pre-med student. Okay, anybody know me? I went to University of Alabama in Huntsville. I dropped out of pre-med school. My goal was to become a doctor, but I'm like, how am I going to do this with 3 kids at the time, a husband? It wasn't happening. So, but I'll tell you one thing, the best outcome was seeing those boys of mine, grown men, and, that's the best outcome of life. Now I'm out taking care, doing things myself. It's a better outcome, to me, just seeing your kids. Because like I'm saying, we get all the education in the world, but our kids are reading at a 4th grade level. Like pour into your kids. That's going to be the best outcome, because at best, you're going to get older. You're not going to work half these careers anymore. You're going to want to quit if they don't terminate you. I'm just saying, you're going to get sick. And you put all this for money, and you're not valuing your children. And now
you was around when the term was trendy or prevalent. Mama don't play that. Mama don't play that was a term where you knew. But now today it's more like mama's actually behind that movement. So it's like, damn, like
right.
I'm gonna ask y'all a question. So dating now, right? Or not dating. Yes, dating. You guys have a child, and the mom is in a better position to financially provide. Like, if you guys are talking about sacrifice, would you guys be okay if the mother went out and worked while the father stayed at home?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about the needs of the child. Matter of fact, it'll be better. That was my setup with me and my ex-husband. If I can go to medical school, I would let him quit and he'd stay home with the kid. That was I wanted to do that. So it wouldn't bother me at all. But yeah, I think that would be good. As long as you're making the money, absolutely. I think it'll be best.
I get really concerned when people are saying that, like, the mom needs to start staying at home, simply because what I'm going through right now is my oldest daughter's in a summer camp. And like I've said before, prior to, like this year, she's been homeschooled, and it's just been like extracurriculars, maybe like dance or swim or something. But now that she is around other kids for a significant amount of time, I don't want to sound like I'm trying to judge anybody else's parenting, but it's like, for her to be 9 coming home saying that she's getting called B words.
Really?
Who are these kids at home with? Because she didn't know certain words or certain like slangs or lingos before she got to that camp.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it makes me concerned when we're pushing for, like, oh yeah, the mom should stay home, because
mom's not good mom.
Who are these mamas that are having these kids? Because my daughter didn't know certain music. She didn't know certain rappers. She didn't know certain words. She wasn't saying certain stuff. And I'm like, they said what to you? And this is going on in front of the teachers, and the teachers are like
not saying nothing,
not correcting this. Like, that's a big thing that I'm now looking at, because now that I'm trying to, like, she's getting to closer to teen years and puberty and all that, and I'm pushing for like her to have social interaction, it's very hard who to pick that social interaction with, because it like society is giving like parenting is going down the drain.
You gotta teach
Like,
her. You gotta definitely teach her to be a leader, because I know when my sons, when they got older, like, you know, some of their friends were starting doing like elite, you know, little drugs, as what kids do. They had to learn how to disassociate themselves from that. You know, most of them are even they're unalive. Some of them are even unalive now. But you know, it really does take you teaching her how to be a leader, because it's gonna happen. This world is
like, even with, I didn't know kids that age was talking about vaping. Like,
oh yeah,
you got a
right.
vape dealer at the school where they go and steal the vapes and sell them. I'm like,
those
what?
kids were drinking
You're like,
sanitizer. They were drinking hand sanitizer, getting just little elementary school kids. Another teacher told me this. They were getting drunk off hand sanitizer. Those kids are off the chain, honey. I'm telling you.
My 6-year-old came home and told me that the girls in her class started a group called the Baddies. And I was like, the Baddies? She was like, yeah, they said I can't be in the Baddies. I'm like, you don't want to be in the Baddies. She was like, I know. I'm like, you know what? We're going to have so I took her on a ride and I drove her like through the city, and I was showing her where the Baddies end up. And then, you know, it was a prostitution block. I was like, this is where Baddies usually end up at. So we drove down there. I showed her some homeless women too. And then went back to the house and I showed her the start of it. I'm like, you gotta come sit down. Baddies East, I think it is, or one of them. I was like, this is what these girls is talking about emulating. I don't ever want to see you out here acting like this. This the wrong path. You got to understand what they doing and talking about. So I sat down and talked her through that whole thing. I think she still kind of looked like all the girls done formed a clique and she liked that aspect, but she don't want to be no baddie, according to what she's been telling me. But I took the time to really like pick her brain and show her a whole lot of stuff about that. Right.
So I could agree with Laisha on the aspect of it. The answer is not necessarily women staying home with the baby. I think it's more so the involvement of the father, whatever that looks like, whether she's staying home or not. And we can't get away from the fact that most of us are raised by a single mother. And there was some mention of people mismanaging the money, but the median income for a single black mother is like $38,000. The average rent for a 1-bedroom is $21,000 a year. That leaves you at a great disadvantage. So you are already behind the 8 ball with that. So I think one of the main things that we could do is to make sure that the father is in the life of the child. So that involves 2 things. For one, men, don't lie with women unprotected who you don't plan on co-parenting with, and women, be very selective of who you give your world to, because there's going to be children that are going to suffer the consequences for it. And that's one thing that we ignore. And, you know, all the statistics show that when a father's in a life, that they likely are not going to become a degenerate. But if they are not, then they fail in every measurable category possible. So that's, I think, where we could start, because if the father was having those conversations with his children, sometimes those awkward conversations, and it's not something that has to happen every day, but it should be something that's addressed. And if you have that type of influence over the child, then a lot of the things that the kids are teaching them in school will go right past them. They'll understand that your influence is going to overpower anybody who they encounters,
So you're
including
saying
some of these weird teachers.
So you're saying that the father's in their life, 2-parent household, even if the kid has to go spend all of his time in daycare and all of that, or whatever, outside of the house, you're saying that the things that's happening to these kids, the influence from the outside, it's not even effective.
Correct. And I'm sure you would feel like that about your children, as I would with mine. The influence from the outside can't penetrate the foundation that we set as parents. Absolutely, I believe that.
Yeah, because like it's never been a perfect world out there. So if you don't have that good foundation, then you just screwed overall. But I was gonna say also, I don't think women will ever want to stay at home, at least not for the next 100 years or so. So I was gonna say, if 2 parents have to work, or the lady wants to go to work and she don't want to be in the house, then how come a lot of us don't pay for services? So you have tutoring, you have all type of things to help your child. If you can't do it, then hire someone to do it. So whatever job you're trying to get, you better hope, it's, 6 figures and up so you could afford these things. Because if not, it's just dismissing the child, and then we're having all these issues that we're talking about right now. You have to put your kids first. So if you're going to go to work, you should already have, this is what I'm going to pay for. This is the things that my child will get into. Not I'm going to go to work and then you're thinking about all this stuff that you have to buy for yourself, or you're thinking about vacations. That type of stuff is not going to help your child. So they have to go through the 12 years of schooling. They have to pass, you want them to do well, right? Straight A's, if not straight B's, something. But they're not going to get it on their own. All teachers are not good. So sometimes you just have to outsource. A lot of us are not outsourcing.
It
We're
seemed
just
like the problem with the outsourcing was I feel like when we were kind of talking about finances a few weeks ago, everybody was saying the average American income is like what, less than 60 or less than 50 or something like that. So what I even realized is like when we're paying for a nanny, we were paying for like us to have a nanny to go like on a date night or something. That was like 22 an hour. A lot of people don't make 22 an hour. Or you have people that literally are making 22 an hour and I'm paying you exactly what I make as well. People can't afford that. When we're talking about tutoring, like some really good tutoring places off the top of my head, we're talking about 200 and 300 a week. Like when we're talking about a contemporary or a lyrical dance or a ballet school that is going to actually prepare your child, like if your child has a true passion for it, I just saw that last week, looked at those prices. That was 300 to 400 for 2 classes a week. Like we want to do these things, but the problem comes in where people are saying, I can barely afford to like pay my rent and keep food in the house and pay my car note. And then when we start having conversations about why you can only afford to do that, then is when, I'm hearing that like, oh, well, the financial peak of people's lives isn't until a certain age. But by the time we reach that certain age, your kids are grown.
Well, this is the problem. So I think Darwin said this earlier. If you can't afford it, because this is the things that we have to think about. Like before you have the next child, I ain't talking about you, but just whoever, y'all better be planning these things because this is important. Would you want your child to stay at home all day? You know what I'm saying? You have goals for your kids before they're born. You have to think about what do I want for this child? They're going to have their own interests, but I'm saying, what money do I have up front to fund these things? If you can't afford it, then that shouldn't be the lifestyle. You should not be out there working if you can't do it. Because if not, you go out there working, you're not going to be able to pay for these things and your child is going to get left behind. The school systems do not care. Even if you put them in private schools, you might have a few good teachers, but for the most part, it's not even like that. I remember I put my child in a private school, right? I got blessed to have it for free, okay? And I remember within 10 days of school, they was trying to skip my child from kindergarten to first grade, right? I said, okay, cool. Because I homeschooled him. I already know what he knows. So I already figured they was going to say that. He's advanced. The principal stopped my child from advancing because they felt he needed to stay with his social group. And I'm like, but his birthday is late. So technically he is behind. And they wasn't having that, like, because, this is just her policy or the policy of the school. And it was a new principal at that time. I just said that to say a lot of these organizations, they don't care. It's all about whatever they're trying to gain.
Yeah, they probably wanted your child to stay behind to help the test scores of that grade level. That's what that sounds like.
It's terrible.
So y'all think if, let's pretend that there was no women in the workforce. Do y'all think that it have an impact on how much a man gets paid? Meaning, there would be enough money left over and enough jobs to make sure men are paid a sufficient amount to take care of the entire household alone? Or do you think that people are just going to pocket the rest that they would have paid the women?
I think that kind of presents us with a race issue then, because like so I find myself telling my husband quite often he's not getting paid what he's worth. And it's not like a woman can do his job even if like she wanted to. So I don't think that part of it isn't a gender issue. That's a race issue, because they never want you to be on the same level as them. So I truly believe they would pocket it. They would tell you that this is the what's that word they use? Competitive pay. This is the highest income. This is the best you're going to get. This is what we're giving you. This is what you should accept. And they would pocket that. I truly believe that, because I watch it happen so many times where I'm like, the job you have, you're putting your life in jeopardy. Like, other people aren't as good as you. And even though you're making what they're saying, they're paying the most, you're making the most out of everybody else that's on the contract.
Well,
Why is it
before you try to go into the race issue or the inequality on pay between ethnic groups or whatever, could you answer that? Like, do you think that men
I
would?
think they would pocket it. I don't think that they would give it to y'all.
Well, what happened before then? Before women was in the workplace, was men at a place where they could take care of a household alone, or did women coming in the workplace cause an economic shift? Especially whenever you could tax the house twice.
But I feel like this
Tax
is
the
like a
household twice now.
completely different economy. Like, the economy is so much worse right now. So of course, if it,
You
like
don't think women coming in the workplace initially had anything to do with the economic shift?
tax wise, yeah, but not like
Period. Wages, all that.
I've never looked at it like it took
You don't think it
money
caused any
away.
inflation or anything like? You don't think it caused any inflation? None of that. It had
Especially
anything?
If you look at like the basic supply and demand curve with economics, if you have more workers for a market, then the price to pay can go down because they can spread it out, they can underbid, and more people are willing to work. So any influx of a group into a workforce would create just the same way a removal of a group should raise wages and make them more competitive, because now it's contingent on will someone work for the amount you're paying. Are you talking, Darwin? I'm sorry.
No, I was responding to my wife. My bad.
But what about the women? I guess to this point that he's bringing up, what about the women who are taking like the leadership roles? The leadership roles, makes money, but if the lady is in place of that, then that man, the man that is striving to get more money, he's not going to be able to get it because the lady took it instead of it. I mean, to this point that we're talking about.
I get what you're saying, but I think one of the points I was just trying to make. There's this argument that women say, "Well, I have to work to survive." I'm just trying to point the finger at to see was there ever a time? Do we ever even remember? We might probably be too young to remember that there was a time where women didn't have to work to survive.
I think Black women always had to work to some extent.
Well, I mean, like, you didn't have to have a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Social Security and all this. You didn't have to go and work. I mean, you probably could do some things, but I'm just saying, like, it wasn't imperative.
Yeah, and I also think the definition of survival has changed. Again, that goes back to the materialism or the expected standard of life.
Because I'm just trying to figure out what happened. Like, what was there a paradigm shift or something that happened in society where the companies, or the capitalists was like, well, damn, now we got everybody working. So now let's really make some money. Let's really,
I think late stage capitalism, pushing people into the workforce, which then lowered the wages with the inflation also occurring at the same time. So the wages were stagnant in comparison to the time and place for the dollar amount. The prices of living went up, which required two people to have to supplant themselves to work to maintain the standard of life. And
stocks went up, Ford, Dodge. Now you got to have 2 cars. Now
and then you have industrialization over, and we switching over to automation. So then you could cut a lot of the jobs that existed before. It's kind of not set up for people to live the life that their forefathers lived.
So it's only like one side of this coin is really winning, and the other side of this coin is actually losing badly. Especially when you add into the fact that people are paying to look rich, because we live in a credit-based society where if you earn 50,000, now you feel like you got to spend 100,000. Like that's crazy.
Well, I think Marcus brought up some good points about everything going up. So even if you made 50,000, is 50,000 enough to be able to take care of kids and be able to like to actually have a good quality of life?
It
No,
depends on where you live at.
no,
and
it's
how much.
not. Well, you're right.
You go
Yeah,
to
it depends
Mississippi
on where you
somewhere,
live, but
or backwoods of Alabama, you probably can survive. But
Knowing it's not even
because
close.
that's what I was confused about when they were saying 50,000 is what most people make. When I think of the average rent out here in like outskirts Atlanta, when you not even Atlanta,
I'm in Sandy
outskirts
Springs.
Atlanta, just for a 2-bedroom, you're talking like 2,200 at the cheapest, maybe 21. So that 12 times a month, I'm not understanding like how are we actually saying that 50,000 is enough, because that's like half of your money gone right there. I'm
Right.
just confused. And then you factor in, okay, people are paying insurance and car note, and you put those two things combined, sometimes that's $1,000, $800 for people. So then that's half of the other half of your money you had left. Like, you barely eating, you barely buying clothes, you're barely like, people can't afford private school at all. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm
in
not understanding
Atlanta,
how people is making 50,000 work.
in Atlanta,
Let's get
they did
after
the
you,
analysis.
lady.
You need to
After
make
you, lady.
a
Let's get
100,000 in Atlanta to just live comfortable. That's a single person. Did you
Yes.
see that? Yeah,
Yes.
100,000 for one person in Atlanta.
But I mean,
Damn.
if it's something where it can't be afforded, then I don't know why people are having so many kids. Because you put the kids in now, he can't raise the he can't pay. Like, then why are we having all these kids? And I
Right.
feel like you just gotta. It depends on where you live and how you're living. We were talking about Jordans and all this stuff earlier. Like, what are you buying?
Basically, you're saying people don't do math whenever they decide to.
They're not doing the math. And there's a lot of free things too for
Oh,
kids
yeah.
and families. That's one thing no one is looking up. I don't see most Black people going to the library. They're not talking. They're not having a community, building community with others around them, to where instead of taking your child to the babysitter, someone in the neighborhood that can provide for your child as far as care goes, and you're paying either it's free or it's cheap. We're not
Josie,
like,
where do you live?
I live in the DMV area.
Texas.
Texas. Do you feel like 50,000 is enough to survive in Texas?
No, it's not, because inflation everything just keeps going up and up. So you probably do need 2 people working in the household, I believe. And I also agree with, you do have to have the mother at home to teach the kids, because now these days the schools, they're not teaching the kids anything at all. And what they're doing is they're being bad. Basically, that's why when your daughter came home, not came home, wherever she got the B word from, that's what they're doing now in elementary, middle school, high school is even worse. So I don't know what to really say about that, because
Let me ask you a question, Jonathan. You said 50,000 not enough to live in Texas.
No, it's not.
How much does rent cost for an apartment?
Like what, a 1 or 2? What are we looking at?
A 1-bedroom apartment.
It depends on the area. So
okay, what's the most affordable area for a 1-bedroom apartment? How much that cost?
I would say that would be like 14, 15.
I'll go with 14. Oh. How much does utilities cost altogether?
Utilities, it depends what season, because you're when it gets cold, of course.
Give me your average.
I would say anywhere from like 150 to 250
per month.
A month, but when it's like snowing, it's probably up to 3s, 400 could be.
Well, how much does grocery cost every month?
Ooh. Well,
one person.
Nine.
I don't. It depends if you have.
You can say it depends on your BMI. Let's just go with the average.
Or kids as well too. Because
well, let's take kids out of it. We're trying to see if we can put the horse before the cart.
Okay.
I mean the cart is
Well, the way I eat, well, a little healthy. It's a little expensive, so I would say a month. 7.
So you spend $700 a month on groceries.
Yeah.
For yourself? I'm sorry. For yourself?
Myself.
One person. What does it make sense for the average person to spend? Not just take yourself out of it.
Okay. It would probably
that's not a lot though, Lady Di, because if you shop at somewhere like Fresh Market or Whole Foods,
and then I go to farmers.
$700 a month. Half your rent on groceries.
That's a lot. Y'all, you buy soda and Gatorade? Like,
no, I'm not lying. So like when I did a detox cleanse for 2 weeks, just me buying the food and like the fruit to juice for 3 times a day and the alkaline water and stuff for me to prep that for 2 weeks cost about $300.
Why did you need to do a detox?
What do you mean?
Like okay, so she just randomly go do a detox?
Well, I wanted to lose like 5 pounds. I wanted to lose 5 pounds. Damn, darling.
See, y'all adding expenses when y'all do things that y'all need to do. Let's just take whatever. Let's say I don't need to lose weight. Let's just say you don't need to lose weight. Oh, how much was the grocery bill now?
Right.
700.
No, it's not. Wait,
it's gonna be 700 regardless, though, because like
take the fact that you gotta eat healthy off. All right, this is
okay. So we're talking about
why
junk
would you
foods.
take that off?
Okay. Let's do junk foods. Okay.
You telling me you can't go spend? It's gonna take you $700 to go get some decent food from Walmart.
I juice a lot and I eat a lot of greens. There's seafood in there as well too. I go to butchers instead of buying meat from like Walmart.
I can't even listen, y'all. I can't even get through all the expenses because of all the. There's so many unnecessary things they need to survive.
That man said you
keep
lose.
But it's me.
That's just me.
That's why I try to tell you to take yourself out of it. We're just talking about an average person.
Okay, in Texas. Okay, $700. Been like $300 to like $400.
Okay, what else does he got to pay for besides food, water, utilities? The car note, right?
Yeah, you got the car note. Then you got the insurance.
Car note and insurance combined, how much is that?
About 700. Yeah.
And what else we got? Medical insurance, probably Medicaid, some shit free.
No, I mean some
Not
people
if you got an income.
Yeah, I pay my insurance yearly out. Yeah.
How much your insurance yearly out?
About 10. It doesn't cost that much.
$10?
Yeah.
Damn.
The hell you find insurance for $10?
You talking about a week, right? Out of your check,
How
like
much
a week.
insurance you got?
No,
What you pay $10 for health insurance?
That's $10,000 a year for me.
Okay. You said $10. You said
What is that?
Yeah, that's a year. That's pretty good. I don't need
$10,000, not $10.
For car insurance?
Oh no, the car insurance is like
No, she said health insurance, Lydia.
Health insurance is that.
Health insurance. Is this through your job?
Y'all about to question this lady whole life.
We try to tell her to take her life out of it, but she keep inserting it back.
Okay, so I'll take it out. So healthcare insurance, it'll be. I'm not really sure. I don't know how much they cost. Like,
Gotcha. You got a family plan through your job or whatever. Like it comes that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't. Yeah.
It could be up there. I get it.
So with all that, you don't think that a person can do that with just $50,000 a year?
No.
Did you do the math?
I mean, I did the math for just one individual.
For the things that we just listed, did you do the math?
No, I didn't mean to be rude. I was just saying that it's not. I was just giving it as one, not as two. There's 2 people in the household. So,
well, with 2 people in the household, I mean, what? Were both of them working or just one?
Both of us were, yeah.
So that's 100. Now that's 100,000. So like God. So you saying even that ain't even enough?
No, that's enough. Yeah, the 100.
So
plus 2.
2 people can survive on 100K, but one person can't survive on 50K.
I feel like you're trying to break it
No.
down in this manner of like people don't do anything extra outside of,
No, I was
but
exposing
they
that.
do.
I was
Some people
exposing the fact
do.
that because you do stuff extra, you're overinflating the narrative saying that you can't survive on 50K. When in reality, you got all these extra expenses.
But those
You gotta
extra
go
things
buy
are
you-
part of our like
or
our
after taxes?
livelihood. You're gonna say you like, are we gonna act like a man getting a haircut once a week or guys with dreads getting a retwist once a month? That's a part of his survival. Like the same way it's a part of a woman's survival to
That's why
like
we. That's why we got
get
to say.
hair maintenance and get her toes done. I hate the narrative of like, you don't have to do those things. Like everybody has to look what makes them feel good because that's a part of mental health. You want to look presentable. We can't throw those things out of the window like they're not
I'm just
important.
asking,
Well,
can you
can we
survive on
add
it?
on?
You
Is
just
that
have to
50,000 after taxes? I'm just saying because, or is it before taxes? Because we know if it's before taxes and it's a single person, taxes gonna take about half of that. So they really make it about 35,000. Let's just
But
keep
you
it
get
real.
it back, and how much you get back?
And no, if you're single, you probably don't get none back in taxes.
Don't
At all.
You know, because
No.
trust me, I'm up there, and the truck taxes, even out of 100,000, after I calculate my taxes, take it down to like 70. It take.
You ain't
What?
claiming your nephews.
I only
You know what?
got, let's just,
They're
I
all
don't-
grown now.
I only got like $600 back from my tax, so it's not.
Wow,
Yeah, it's not helping.
it's not a lot. You have to have kids.
And then like women have a different set of expenses than men do. Like
It's not.
and that's fine, that's dandy. We're just saying that 50,000 isn't enough to do like
I have to
the
go to work.
mandatory
let
bills
me
as
flip
well
it.
as
All right.
like our
Let me flip the whole.
womanly
Hold on, wait,
expenses.
wait.
This last thing I'm gonna say. Let me flip the whole
I'm gonna
conversation.
ask a question.
Let's just say, because you said women and all this other, and somebody said black people. Let's say immigrant came in. Let's just say from across the border and had the same salary. You think they'll be able to live on 50,000 a year?
Yeah, because they're gonna be like
Yeah.
10 of them.
They got
They're gonna have like 10 of them in a 2-bedroom.
and they got governmental assistance. So hey,
Go ahead,
somebody
Sweetie.
can't get that. I can't get that.
Bruce, you got your calculator ready?
Yeah, give me a
calculator.
second. Yeah, I get it.
The calculator.
$50,000.
Sweetie,
No,
you
and then
finna
on
calculate
top
what
of that,
you
when
spend?
when I go to work, I have to have my hair a certain way. We have to wear a certain type of clothes. So I just go
So you
in.
think if black women
Hold on.
embraced their natural look, they wouldn't have to?
Let's keep it a bang. We're talking about family, so let's just talk. Let's keep it at family. You got your calculator ready?
Okay.
Oh snap!
This is in the cheapest state you can possibly live in, the state of Mississippi. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
And this is for a family of 4.
In the morning.
Family of 4?
Family of 4.
Oh man.
Rent $14.70 a month. Phone bill, you're looking at $114 a month.
$14.70.
Gas, $63 a month. Internet,
Yeah, it'll have to be
roughly
more
about
than that.
$30 a month.
Oh, you moving too fast, man. Damn.
That's it's gonna have to be more than that in gas.
Yeah,
you
the
said
gas
fair?
is a lie for sure.
Gasoline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like gasoline for the car or a gas
This is-
bill
this
for
is
the month?
Mississippi. Most
$90
people.
to fill mine up.
This is just Mississippi.
$63
I'm talking
sounds
about
like a
Mississippi.
utility bill.
Y'all are all jumping in. And y'all,
utilities or like gas
oh
for
yeah,
your
yeah.
car?
This is utilities. My fault.
Oh,
Yeah, this is
okay,
utilities.
okay.
Let somebody else calculate it, because what I don't want to do is
No. Go ahead and calculate it, bro.
When you added a family of 4, you changed the whole argument.
No, because we're talking about families. I get it. First of all,
Well,
yes,
I was talking about
50K,
one person.
50K for one person is absolutely enough. But let's
Well,
talk about a family of 4.
What? So Joseph, you just walked it back.
Come on, man. Fuck all of that. Let's just do the math for a family because we're talking about families. Who give a shit about the individual?
Well, that's
the problem
what
is there ain't
conversation
enough.
was
The
about,
problem is
sir.
the problem is there ain't enough families. So why are we talking about individuals?
Well, the reason
So
why
let's
we were talking about
just do the
hold
let's
on.
just do the math. Let's just do the math
The
on
reason
family.
why it started from the individual because we wanted to test out Lady Di's theory of whenever you planning for the next person to be introduced into the world, where are you dropping the ball and calculating how much expenses is going to take to graduate from one person or a baby or even a partner? That's the reason why you started at single. But when y'all skip over to it's a family of 4, like we already agreed that it's already fucked up from there.
Bruiser, the problem is that that's exactly what she's saying. She's trying to
It was.
calculate. If you're trying to calculate for what it would cost to add a person to your life, then it doesn't matter what you can do as a single person because you're trying to. That's why I'm trying to give you the math for the family rather than for the individual,
No,
because
it
that's
does.
what people are really trying to
I
figure
guess
out.
we
It
would
does
need
matter.
both
It
though,
does
All
because
right,
we
matter.
need to
I
figure
guess
out.
I'll do the math myself, man. Because
We
y'all
need
just
to be able to figure out how you can afford to live on your own, and then adding a baby
It's
made you
important.
go like super broke. Is
Gracie, you
that's
made a
what we're trying
point.
to figure out?
You made my point. The whole thing he just did was he just argued my point. People are trying to figure out. They're not even figuring out how to live alone. They're not even figuring out how to afford to live by themselves before even introducing a family. That's why we got the habit of jumping into okay, how much is gonna cost for a family of 4? Like,
Does it
nigga, can you
matter?
survive on your own,
Josie,
nigga?
Does
Josie
it
just said
matter?
her grocery bill is $700 for her and her husband.
It absolutely matters.
you care?
You have to start with one single person to change the mentality, because I would argue that most people alone are living paycheck to paycheck already. If we
But
haven't even gotten into a relationship.
Wait,
I got a
Josie,
question
that's
real
just
quick.
for you and your husband. You don't have any kids.
Oh hell no! What y'all eat?
She just said she eats whole foods. She's not.
Healthy food, they
Is
cost
Josie?
a
Hold on,
lot.
wait. First of all, Josie's not complaining about her food bill. She already told us
Right.
she eats whole
Because
food.
it nourishes
So why are y'all
you. It
basing? Why are
nourishes
y'all
you.
basing how much it costs to eat off of her scenario when she just
Thank you.
told y'all, I'm eating at Whole Foods. I'm juicing.
Right.
I'm doing this. It doesn't matter what she's doing with her money because
Right.
she's not the one complaining. The ones that are
Right.
complaining are the ones who have. So if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it for a family, because that's what we're trying to create here. It
But
doesn't matter if a single person. The thing is if a single person can't survive, it doesn't matter whether they can survive on their own or not, because they ain't got enough money to take care of a family of 4. Doesn't even matter.
It does.
Hey, real quick, y'all. We got to get a couple. We got to get a couple more people in here. Summer, what you got on this?
So sorry, I left for a little bit, so I'm trying to catch up to where you guys are at.
I could ask you a question.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Based off of the information we was trying to figure out with the average cost of living, how much do you think is necessary for a family of 4 to live? And at what age do you think people should start forming those families?
Oh, dang. What age? Good Lord. I don't know if it's so much based on age, but I think when you're probably really established with direction you want to go with your career, and you have some thoughts on building a family and what it's going to take to help raise a healthy family.
You mean afford it?
I'm thinking probably like closer to 30, maybe. I think you have, a bit of maturity, a bit of, life experience that you can bring to the table. I had a family of 4. So when I think about living in California, living comfortably, I would say, probably close to almost 200,000
for a family of 4.
For a family of 4.
I thought you was gonna say 300 in California. That makes
at least. I mean, I lived in the high desert in California, where it's pretty, reasonable place to live. Yeah, I would definitely say probably when we broke about 200,000, it got a little bit more comfortable to live. Both of our kids were involved with sports. We have a nice sized property. So planning for like retirement and stuff, that's what we had in mind. Making sure that, there was a lot of travel costs because the distance that my husband had lived or worked away. So there was quite a bit, the gas out here is astronomical. Utility bills, the cost of utilities. I mean, we had probably like a $400 a month Edison bill. So yeah, we needed to bring in some income in order to be able to survive and have, some sort of quality of life.
Is it reasonable to say that, like, if we're saying one person can survive on 50,000, that for every additional person you want to bring in your home, you should be trying to bring in another 50,000? Like,
Hell no.
isn't that what we like kind of need to start thinking like,
That's how
or
you gotta think.
leaning
There
toward?
was a calculation made a couple years ago that they calculated how much one child from birth to the age of 18, I don't know if somebody wants to look that up, but how much it would cost over that span of lifetime.
Over 300. It's over 300 now at this point.
What is over 300?
Yeah, because they're literally
They say it's about 21,000 per year, something crazy.
Google
like that.
is saying that for the first year of a child being born, a parent spends anywhere from 20 to 50,000 just in the first year. That's
what a
the first thing that
parent
comes
spends.
up on Google.
That's not what's necessary.
No, it is what's necessary. That's what they're basing it
Now
off
listen
of.
to the words. You said it's what a person spends. What a person spends is not the same as what is necessary.
Yeah, because people buy a crib and a bassinet and a swinger and
100,000 on it.
Exactly.
And they say that's reported what people spend, but that don't mean that they.
Well, I was talking about the 300,000 thing. That's actually they're calculating necessities. It ain't all the excess.
But if you was to budget, if anybody was ever budgeted, you would first figure out what the budget is for you to survive. You don't wait to start budgeting when you got 4 people.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have so much access to information now. I mean, that people can look that up and kind of plan.
We know that people are not doing. That's the whole point. We're exposing that people are not even doing that. People are on paycheck.
So Don, how much does it cost for a family of 4 in the U.S.?
How much does it cost for a family of 4 in the U.S.?
The U.S. You got to know. That's a terrible question. The U.S., California, New York, Florida is 2 different areas.
Yeah.
All right. I was just trying to so we can have a consensus. We all live in the same country, so
I would say in between 60 and 80 grand, but it all depends on the demographics.
All right. So in the state of Mississippi, which is absolutely one of the cheapest states you can live in, without retirement, you're looking at 94,000.
Yikes.
Nah.
I did the math. I did the math.
Yeah, the way you calculated a $1,700 rent, and I'm telling you, I lived in Alabama from the time I was in elementary school, from the time I graduated, and there were people living in single wide and double wide trailers.
You're talking about 20 years ago.
Okay, so I'm gonna just tell you what it says.
I'm talking about as recent as last year.
What it says right now on the internet for Atlanta.
And she'll tell you
6 to 9
for her single wide trailer she living in, and it ain't even close to $1,000.
How long she been in this single wide trailer?
She just moved in there, probably like 3 months ago.
In what state?
So
Alabama.
Real quick, y'all.
In the backwoods.
We have a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. I had separated from my husband, and it was over $3,000 in California.
And I'm telling you, them people in Alabama that's living in them little ass shacks and shit, they not reporting no statistics.
You feel like 6,800 to 9,800 is pretty average a month in Atlanta, because that's what it says for a family of 4 in Atlanta right now.
Yeah.
So imagine you spending it says $6,830 and $9,817 per month. Somewhere in between there is what the average person in Atlanta. So imagine what people are spending in New York, in California, in Vegas, and I would say when I think of Atlanta, I think Dallas and like Houston is right there on the same accord with Atlanta. So ain't nobody finna tell me that like 50,000 is enough.
So hold on, y'all. Raisewell, you've been pretty patient over there. What you got on this?
Which question?
You could address either about whatever you wanted.
Well,
or you didn't hear any of the questions.
No.
We were just We was discussing the minimum amount you would need for a family of 4 to survive in the state.
The minimum we was?
I thought that's what it was.
I don't think they had a minimum. The minimum is a game changer. Because then you
Yeah,
got
the minimum is different. They were talking about what people spend or whatever.
That Josie got. I bet
it doesn't matter. You can come from any angle you want.
Pause.
So I know I live in the state of California. For a family of 4 per month or per year.
Whichever is easier for you to calculate, because we could
I would
time
say per month they
12x
probably
if we have to.
spend like close to 10,000 a month.
Yeah, I agree.
Yikes. That's 120,000 a year necessary.
Their mortgage is already 5,000.
Mm-hmm.
I work with families of
What
4,
kind of square
3.
feet they got over there for 5,000?
Well, California is
what?
really, really bad. California is really, really bad. Their insurances are one of the worst in the country. They tax you on everything. You got these crazy tickets. Their rents and mortgages are out of this world. They find so many ways to huh? Go ahead.
Let's say mortgage 5,000.
Yeah.
What part is it? Does it ever dawned on you that a $5,000 mortgage, probably the reason why it's so high, could possibly be the interest rate, and the interest rate can possibly be based on your damn credit.
Well, in this case, we don't factor all that.
That is true. Hold on, that is true. We have to compensate for some of these reports. It's not incorporating people's credit, how much interest rate they're getting charged, and all.
It's gonna be hard to get a $5,000 mortgage if your credit is shot, bro. It's gonna be very difficult to get a $5,000 mortgage if your credit is shot. I don't know how that works.
These interest rates these people are paying on these. Come on, 5,000. That's why I asked, what was the square feet of that house?
And taxes too.
It doesn't matter. It's in LA and all the homes.
You telling me that the square feet don't matter?
Not in LA. It doesn't. No. It's going to be $1 million and up regardless.
2 bedrooms matter.
What's the average property taxes? What's the average property taxes?
2 bedrooms and 2 baths matter. Between the 1 bedroom and 1.
Point, Dora, when you want to talk about
it's the same concept if you think about it.
It's not.
Okay, so
are we trying to figure out if we can live on one income so that we can preserve one or other parent and
I don't get how we're having this. Why does it so damn confusing?
Y'all ask me how much do it cost.
All right, let's put a pin on it so we can jump into this next topic.
Okay. We can
like Jesus, we already know you can't. We already know how much it costs.
I just don't understand how we can't.
Old ass to sleep. Damn, you nodding off on camera and Bro Namdi with the $2 with the super sticker. Salute, bro. Bro Namdi with the 99 super sticker. Bro Namdi with the $1 with the super sticker. All right, we got Joaquin Rice with the 5. The better question is, why 13-year-old boys even being labeled as incels? That is a good question.
As what?
Incel. 13-year-old boys. Yeah, that's crazy. You're not supposed to be.
Yeah. Dr. G with the $5. Where do you find the greatest number of hyper-emotional men in the U.S.? In prison. Shaka Carter with the $1 super sticker. Salute, Shaka. Mills 36 with the $2. I guess all y'all rich on the panel. Laugh out loud. I'm not rich.
I'm broke as a joke.
For sure.
And my goal would be like,
I'm also marrying an 80-year-old, by the way.
I'm not
That's my
saying there's
plan.
anything wrong with that, but
Here she go.
but it changes. But anyway,
No matter how he looked, it don't matter how. The main thing I'm going to say is I'm careful to avoid what's called a naturalist fallacy. And this is the false belief that because something is natural, it must be moral or good. So I just kind of put that out there as a qualifier with what I'm about to say. There's something called like a blank slate theory or socialization theory. And it's basically it's the debate about nature versus nurture.
Mhm.
Most people who consider themselves feminists, they have a working presupposition or theory about human beings, men and women, and human sexuality. And their belief system is rooted in this. When you lean much more into nurture versus nature, anytime you see distinctions, differences, sociological reactions or responses for whatever reason between men or women, you're going to believe that you can socialize it out of them.
And what do you mean by that?
What it means is if you don't believe that there's biological, evolutionary hardwiring that's built into us to be attracted to desire, to do and behave in certain ways, you're going to believe that the sex that's not doing what you think they should be doing is because you can socialize them to now act like the other sex.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
All right. The reason why that's important with this topic and all others is because there is a version of femininity that believes any distinction, even when it comes to sex, is something that just has to be completely 100% socialized and changed out of men. And that as long as men start to behave, communicate, think, and act like women, they'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to sex, they'll insist that there is no innate psychological differences between men and women. They'll functionally believe that because they're psychologically the same, we should have the same expectations. This is the issue. There's physiological differences. And the physiological differences some are very minute, but then some are massive, with huge implications. These are some of the differences that I noted. And obviously, naturally, we know that there's differences between men and women: grip strength, speed, upper body strength versus lower body strength. We know this. Like, generally speaking, there's physiological differences, but there's physiological differences when sex occurs and when they have orgasm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to question I'm going to have a question once I list these off. And the question is this, actually: do men and women experience sex, and are the consequences they experience from said sex the same or different? These are the things that I noted that were different. Men tend to have higher sexual desire and are more accepting of casual, non-commitment based sex. Sex hormone amounts and patterns are different between male and females. The hypothalamus, which is the region of the brain involved in sexual activity, is both larger and more sensitive to testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
Men tend to experience quicker and more intense sexual arousal and orgasms compared to women. Research shows that women's sexual desire has more variables and is influenced by factors like self-esteem, relationships, emotions, and how they feel about their bodies, the relationship, and overall emotional state. Social consequences of clear communication of their desires in the domains of sex, especially sexually. So think of it this way, because that one could be a little bit confusing. If men were bluntly or straightforwardly honest about how often they think about sex, about the different ways that they think about sex, about the different types of women that they want to experience in terms of thinking about sex, if they were honest about how they felt sexually, are they rewarded for their honesty?
No.
And then lastly,
That was quick.
reproduction evolutionary drives for men or women. You are the product of thousands, if not tens of thousands of years of one side of a person or one set group trying to survive and procreate and mate select in a certain way. And the other group, you're the product of a person people who kept sowing their seed.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is going to be like, well, wait a minute. If there's all of these evolutionary, biological, physiological differences, and men and women clearly don't even experience sex, let alone orgasms in the same way, I don't know. Actually, I do know, but I'm just saying it facetiously. I don't know that in the quest to be like men, that's actually been a net benefit to most women, especially after 40, 50 years of this experiment. That doesn't mean that men are justified to cheat. It seems to suggest that at least their biological hardwiring has designed them to better be able to be okay with doing it.
Okay. This perfectly encapsulates what I was talking to Bo about. I need at least one of y'all to believe. Do any of the women disbelieve this? Do you agree or disagree with this? And if you disagree, we'll start with you. Anybody disagree with what he said? Oh, we need Bo. Oh, we need Bo.
Can you give? I just want you to give a quick 1 to 2
synopsis.
sentence. Yes.
Okay. What he was saying is that when I was referencing earlier that men are biologically different than women, and feminism has socialized women into believing that men are just socialized into being men, and it's not biologically different. And because feminism has created the idea that men are just socialized to be this way, and it is not biology, that it puts expectations on men and women that pervert the dynamic within the relationships. So do you believe that men are biologically different in the relationships? And if you all believe it, we got to switch the question into maybe, do you think men are biologically wired to cheat or to seek additional sexual partners? Y'all don't agree with that, right? We're gonna find some of y'all don't agree with. That's what he said.
So I could only speak to, I believe men are biologically different, but I cannot speak on the sexual part. Only y'all men need to answer that, honestly. I'm just being real. If he's saying that we orgasm different, then there's no way I can express that, like, you're gonna cheat because we orgasm. I can't say that. It won't be fair for us to even answer that part. But us being different, yeah, I think we were meant to be different for a reason. That don't mean that men should cheat. Like, I mean, I think they need to help. If we're talking about sex, I think they need to help their lady kind of get up to speed with them. And there's different ways to do that. Because I know women complain about they don't want to have sex because it's too much responsibilities. All these things are weighing on their brain. Y'all all these emotions together. So if men can help women kind of navigate that, however that looks in a relationship, then maybe it can help women want to have sex more. And there's also certain foods that can help with those things. It's not just in the mind. If you eat the right food, all that stuff will come, all that stuff that these ladies are thinking about won't be there. They're going to be, already sexually aroused or whatever. So certain different things that men can do or women could research to help the situation.
I don't think women are compelled to or even interested in helping a man if he's not measuring up sexually, especially if the woman is having a good enough amount of partners or history. She's just not. I mean, I had a conversation with a guy last week, or was it earlier this week? Yeah, it was last week. This guy only had 4 inches of penis, and he got no grace. She didn't want to coach him through nothing. She didn't want to tell him ways he could compensate to hit the spot.
Oh my God.
And I think but if it was vice versa, if it was a woman not measuring up, man is like, okay, look, just put your head down. You get what I'm saying? You're gonna be all right. It's different. It ain't really much. As long as we get to, it's different. As long as a man get to just no boundaries for real, and I'm not talking about no foul stuff. I'm saying as long as we get to, do what we like with you, we good. But y'all gotta have a specific. It gotta be a specific angle, or it's gotta be a specific touch, or it's gotta be some guys just don't know how to do that, and I don't think, for the most part, y'all are willing to coach a man up. Y'all want him to already come predisposed or have what you call an XP tread. Had an XP coming into it. So, and if you ain't got the XP, the hell with you.
So to the women, let me ask this, because y'all didn't jump on that last one. Okay, I'm gonna rephrase it with Darwin's thing, to answer some of Darwin's point. Are you willing to stay in a relationship with the man? Do you expect the man to be sexually experienced enough to satisfy you when you get in a relationship with him?
No.
I don't need you to be sexually experienced. I need you to listen. Because I think the running joke is like, men can't ever find it. Why are you touching or licking something that's not it? Comes from a woman will literally tell you, hey, push the big red button and you're just like, where's it at? I don't like, you don't have to be experienced if you just listen. Because somebody's always having their first time,
Why we
right?
acting like
And you're
some of y'all don't even want to touch you? See, some of y'all don't even like touching yourself, let alone trying to guide a man to it. Y'all.
But okay, and that's also a big thing. You are absolutely right, Darwin. And I
Mhm.
hate when I have to agree. I hate it in my core. Oh my God. But like that is a big deal. A big part of what happens is like nobody wants to have the talk with their kids. Their kids then grow up and go out into the world being inexperienced. Because if we're talking about the people that don't want to touch themselves, we have to also talk about the parents that never had the communication skills to teach their daughter or their son about masturbation. You just walked in, you felt embarrassed, you act like you didn't see it, and then you just went on about your life. But are we having a conversation about like what is an orgasm? What are these
Oh,
parts of your
your mama don't
body?
teach
What
you
are
how to.
we,
Your mama
huh?
don't teach you how to do that.
I feel like I had a very like open conversation with my mom when I became sexually active, and she explained to me in biological terms, and she broke down to me like the flutters in my stomach and what I was going to feel and la da 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 and this and this and that. And it's okay to touch yourself. It's okay to explore yourself. Like we don't have those conversations. So you have a bunch of inexperienced people that don't know what a real orgasm is. You don't know how to achieve one. You don't know what you actually like in the bedroom. And then you get with somebody who's equally unknowledgeable, and then you want them to know what to do with your body before you know what to do with your body.
Hey, Laisha,
I
you
mean,
know what?
like,
You want to know what's hilarious? So you
What?
said the man don't listen, right? They just need to know how to listen, right? Did
Oh
you
my
know that
gosh, Sweeney, here you
did
go.
you know that between 25 and 50% of women don't even know where their vagina is located on an anatom on a
What?
diagram? They couldn't even tell you where it's at on a diagram. So a woman that cannot identify on a diagram where the vagina is supposed to tell a man how to work with that motherfucker.
Who are these women? Who are they? Who are these
Is it
women?
one of
They
those?
asked her to point
Women
to
that
it
have
on the
been
map.
socially
They said,
conditioned
point to it on the map. And
for
she said,
purity.
I bet it's
I
one of
have
them. I bet it's one of them sophisticated diagrams where you don't even know what the fuck you really looking at. It's just
it's a human body, and it says, where's the vagina at? And they point to the head.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that was going on, but if you say it's going on, maybe it is.
Hey, hey, y'all, look it up. Hey, I bullshit you not. Look it up. I just looked it
So
up. The shit's wild.
I wanted to ask
A
a couple of the
significant number of
ladies.
women lack knowledge about the location and anatomy of their vagina and other parts of the female reproductive system. Studies indicate that between 25 to 50% of women cannot correctly identify the vagina on an anatomical diagram. Some surveys even suggest that over half of women may be unsure of the location of their vagina.
Right. Okay. So I think what the dude was saying in the video, the ladies on the panel feel like women's expectations of men's behavior sexually might be just a little bit off after his explanation?
I do. I've experienced a lot of women shaming men for for the libido being so high, for the desire to have sex. I've experienced a lot of women in the church who are still, even though they might be in their 50s, never been married, and being upset because a man wants to have sex with them before they're married. So there's a lot of shame built around men's, sexual functioning,
I don't think
unfortunately.
anything's wrong with a high sex drive. I just think you have to be disciplined if you're going to be in a relationship or a marriage. That's it.
Do you don't think that discipline is contingent upon whether a woman is reluctant or not to give it up when he asks for it?
No, because I think a part of having discipline is you agreed to be in the relationship. So if you don't, if you're dealing with somebody that doesn't want to be touched, why did you agree to get in the relationship? Or like if she's going through a crappy week or she's PMSing, okay, that's not going to kill you. You can wait. Like, I think that people go through things, and just because a man doesn't have like an emotional thing that makes him be like, oh, I'm not in the mood this week, I think that they like to make it seem like it's the worst thing in the world when a woman does that. But it's
It
not,
is.
because
Men don't do
there's
that.
next week. Is there not
It
next
is.
week, Darwin? Because you didn't get some this
what
week.
about
Is
this
there
week?
not next
What
week?
about
It's not a
fellatio?
problem. That's not the
What
problem.
about
The
this
problem
week?
is not about
What
next
about
week or this week.
fellatio? I mean,
Problem,
That's what I'm
about
saying.
that.
Are you
If
willing
you
to
don't want to have
improvise?
sex, you can have fellatio.
it's
There's
not a
other
problem
ways
no
that
matter is you
please
got
him.
next week. The problem is why we can't do it this week.
Okay, so what are you saying are the reasons that, like,
No, what are you saying?
well, I'm asking, what are the reasons that would upset men that y'all feel like aren't good reasons?
Okay, I can give
You
you an
just said
example.
a
You don't
whole
want
week
me
is
to give you an
supposed to be
example because you
cool.
ain't gonna like it.
Yeah, because, like, okay, I saw a comment say, like, okay, women's vaginas are sensitive, so you can have a yeast infection
You want me
from
to give you an example?
absolutely anything. That medicine takes a week to work.
Do you want me to give you an
Wait,
Well,
example?
damn,
like,
that's another problem.
Do you want
But
me, you want me to give you an example?
mm-hmm.
I'm tired.
Okay. She was
said,
are we
tired.
supposed to accept? Are we supposed to accept that? Are we
Men,
supposed to
so
accept that?
let's be real, Laisha. I mean, we just gonna
Exactly.
talk about it. You think men are just like, I'm tired, I don't want to do it, or they will wake up in the middle of their sleep to do it? Like, come on, we're not the same.
I do think that.
Men will wake up,
Yeah,
and roll over with their eye half closed and do something with you. We women are not doing that. So when we're tired, you're not giving nothing else. You could do something else. We already know what that is.
There's always
Are
three
women
options,
doing
buddy.
that?
Always three options.
Take sex off the table, because obviously, man, we riding with that. What is something that you love to do, that you ask your man to take you to or do with you, and he could tell? And how long can he tell you, I don't feel like doing it, before you get upset?
I'll probably shopping.
Go out to eat or some shit.
Shopping, because they don't like shopping. So yeah,
shopping.
And they get
currently, right now, I know y'all finna get on me for this too, because y'all gonna say I'm spoiled, I'm rotten, I'm this, I'm that, whatever. I don't care. This is how I feel in this moment. Right now I got 2 broke nails, and I broke them yesterday, and I got about 3 more days before I be mad that these 2 nails is broke.
So what if he told you after 3 days, hey, look, not this week, I don't feel like it?
Okay, cool. Okay.
And then next week.
No, you not, yo.
Okay. No, my okay, cool means I'm finna not be feeling like some stuff too.
So
you're gonna
hold on, wait.
get back.
So
we just gonna go sit back.
Hey, Darwin, this is why you got to make it make sense to him. You see how quickly she would get upset over some nails?
2 to 3 days.
And it didn't take 2. It didn't even take a whole week or 2 months or 3 months. It took 2 to 3 days.
You said I didn't make it make sense to her?
Are y'all saying that, like, because this, okay, here's
That's
I guess
how
the
we
part that I'm
feel.
not understanding. Are y'all
when you
saying
say
after
not-
the 1 week it turns into a month, it turns into 2 months,
How does
or
Yeah,
are
you
y'all
be
saying y'all
Incredible
don't want to
Hulk
wait
after
1
that
week?
1 week, yeah.
Yes, it can turn into a month or 2 months. There's couples that they have sex and
y'all don't know
only
how
on
much
Christmas because of
wrong,
she's
y'all.
not in the mood. There's people that talk about
That woman
all the
hates that
time.
man if they're only having sex on Christmas. She hates him.
It's not always
She hates
that
him.
she hates him. It's not always that.
She has to.
She ain't gotta have sex.
You got at home PP that you don't have to get dressed up for. You ain't got to take your bonnet off for. You could keep your muumuu on. What? I could get it comfortably in my house, and I don't want to. That means I don't like him.
The problem is not
Ain't no way. NY gets it.
The problem is not that you denying him. We can deal with it if and only if you don't have a problem for us making up for it where you lack. That's where the problem becomes. Because if not only we can't make up for where you lack at, and you get to deny us, that's when we kind of we corner. You get what I'm saying? So it's like we're in a submissive position at that point.
At
so
your
we have to
mercy.
compromise.
Compromised.
Yeah, we're pretty much compromise. For one who, especially the ones who will argue that a man is not even supposed to be monogamous. Those guys are really in a frustrating situation. If you, for some reason, convince them that they should.
I got a question for the men. So if women had the same sexual desire like y'all, so the lady that you're with, would you still cheat on them?
No.
And but that's what makes the
Mark
difference, though.
M. White, he left. Mm-hmm.
So one, I think cheating is wrong. Let me just make sure I put that out there and start with that. I believe in honesty and transparency. But if women body function biologically how men's body function, I wouldn't be in a relationship with them.
Why?
And I say that because this is why it's all right. The way we're wired to seek other sexual encounters, or the way we're turned on, I think that would be too much temptation to realistically expect somebody to maintain the faithfulness that I would want as a man within our relationship. And being in a man's body, I get it. So I would know how much pressure that is on them, and I would think eventually they would cheat at least once, if not more.
If the woman's libido was high?
Not if her, so if her libido was high, no. If her body was set up to function the way men's body is set up. Libido high is fine.
You would automatically think that she would be
predisposed to
cheating.
Yes. If it functioned exactly how men's body function, I would believe women would cheat a lot.
Do you know before the Victorian era, and I don't know how this affects people of color necessarily, but there was some research done that women's libido was really high. They had a diet that was filled with fat and protein and so forth. And what you're speaking of, men not being comfortable with the libido where it was at. So I don't know how they were, obviously the women were performing pretty well at that time. And so that's where salads were introduced to women to kind of subdue the libido. And men were encouraged to continue to be meat eaters. So what it did is started to change how women functioned hormonally, and brought upon that reduction. So what you're speaking on, I can see that to be true, very true.
And I want to make the distinction. So libido and biological function would be different. I could deal with high libido. Biological function, me understanding how again, men and women's biology operates different.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
Get it?
So understanding how men's biology is so a woman can have sex, right, and keep busting nuts. She can just keep orgasming.
Mm-hmm.
After the first orgasm, she may want to get closer and closer and closer. Our biology, unless you all the way in love, a lot of times after you have sex, it doesn't necessarily make you want to just cuddle up under the person and just get as close as you can. It kind of makes you feel the opposite way. But if you brought another woman after that, it might become erect again. It's something in our biology that does that. So
your estrogen and testosterone. Because lovemaking brings out the estrogen. And so you guys have to go and retreat in order to regroup the testosterone. So that caused a little bit of separation at that point in time. So it makes sense.
I never knew that.
So that
explains a lot, though. That explains a whole lot.
Somebody had a question before I left. I don't think I got the answer.
I said, if the lady you're with can please you how you want to be pleased, so she has the same sexual desires as you, would men cheat on their lady still, since we're biologically different?
Would they cheat on them still? As if they cheating on them when they not getting pleased.
Because they're not getting pleased, so most of them are probably cheating on their lady.
I would argue that it's not. Even whenever they not getting all of their needs met, I would say for the most part, they still ain't cheating.
Or would want to cheat. How about that?
They probably want to.
I
would say to your point, if a man is getting pleased, satisfied, I think that's on the list of one of the major reasons men are cheating. That will go away. That's a significant dip in the percentage of men being compelled to step outside of the relationships. But
so is it the man? So I asked that question because I think there's different types of men. What M. White is saying is that, or what I think he's saying is that some men are wired to do so because of what's the difference, or what their desires are is different for what women have. So they may seek more women. It has nothing to do probably with the lady itself. They just seek more women, so they want to be with more women.
that could be true, but I believe that it don't matter what your desire. I can have the same desires as a man that want to smash everybody, but it's something else that's keeping me from doing that he don't have.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
what is that?
if left to I can tell you this.
Yeah.
Left to our own devices, yes, we out here. That it is what it is. But most men behave because of consequences, whatever that looks like, right? Whatever consequences. Your consequences could be divorce. Your consequences could be shame, embarrassment, or judgment. But like left to our own devices, right? Let's just say men in general, if they are presented with an opportunity for everyone and no one would bat an eye and it would be deemed okay to society, absolutely, men is out here for the most part getting it in as much as possible with everyone, but the consequences are pretty much what keep most men in line.
Well, I would say it's a matter of self-control and discipline. If you practice it or you believe in it, it's a value system thing. You have some men that's not part of their value system, and they don't feel it's necessary for it to be a part of their value system in order for them to get the results they want. You know what I'm saying? They can still achieve the outcome they want and not really adopt a sexual discipline or monogamous value system. You know what I'm saying? And there's women out here that complements that very well.
So Darwin, my general point would be, I don't think that most men that are able to achieve faithfulness are able to achieve faithfulness because they're faithful. I think it's due to lack of opportunities. I think when people are presented with opportunities, like say somebody like LeBron or Diddy, that's a completely different understanding than somebody who barely gets sexual access thrown their way. I'm not talking about you going and you attempting to wine and dine women and lying and doing all that. I'm saying you go to that candy store analogy they use, it makes the most sense. Like men are outside the candy store looking in, and the moment they get a chance to go inside, they run in and start trying to eat the candy. Like it sounds like a dumb analogy, but but most men never get access to just run through the candy store.
Let me ask you this: you think
I find it? I don't think it's realistic for a normal to high functioning testosterone man to get access to candy that he never had before, to walk through and never touch it, get one lollipop and never come back. Except
you say access, do you mean he's in the vicinity of beautiful women that he would want to smash?
That want to him is what I'm saying.
And they want to smash.
Let him smash.
So what I'm saying is, well, you don't know that until you go and inquire that, like, indeed, this woman do want it, or you can just guess by looking at her body language and all that stuff and how she, but just to say, I got access to these women, and I got the opportunity if I allow it. Like you're saying that the reason why I'm able to achieve faithfulness because I don't have it access.
No, well, so right now you have a different testosterone level and you're older. If you had the same access at say 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, you more than likely would be engaging with different sexual encounters with different women.
So it's not a matter of access, it's a matter of age in that point.
So that's the contingent factor at that point. Because you're saying right now you don't do X, Y, and Z. I'm saying in your prime or your highest level of testosterone, you did do X, Y, and Z. And 90% of men that had access did do X, Y, and Z in their prime. At this age, yes, we can alter.
What age would you say was a man's sexual prime?
Probably 15 to 25, 26. The highest level of testosterone, I'm saying.
So does the highest level of testosterone equate to sexual prime?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. Well, I can get you to win that. I don't think there's any much discipline as a 15-year-old because I argue most 15-year-olds don't even have any practice or even know or even have any interest in trying to understand what it is. Or
Let's
even
get away from the 15-year-olds though. Let's start at
Yeah,
least like
we gonna use adults for the thing. I'm not making a discipline argument. I'm making a biology argument. And what you'll see in people who get granted that, whether they religious leaders, whether they the most disciplined of they all usually have some type of sexual history that may dwindle down as they get older. But in a prime, it's Tiger Woods, it's OJ, it's any throughout history. You pick a time, and men behave in very similar fashion when they had access.
Let's just
Like,
say, let's just
very,
So should we just accept this?
Let's just chuck it up to it's a matter of weighing whether it's worth it or not. Because if person B has a shitload, he ain't got shit to lose, a single dude. I mean, he just met this girl, you know, they maybe cohabitating every now and then. He might smash the girl that's been hitting on him that's on the squat rack every Tuesday. But the man that's married, you know what I'm saying, he's sole provider and all this other shit, and he got multiple kids. He's not gonna, you know, he's not gonna risk it. So I would argue it's a matter of risk. First of all, it's a matter of your value system primarily. Some of these guys have spiritual beliefs and traditions they believe in that they practice and they read up on and they pray on. And then you have the things that you have to lose. So you have to measure like, damn, is it worth me getting caught up over a little piece of ass and throwing my whole life and credibility and my image in the garbage?
So do you remember the 90s and the early 2000s when the divorce rates was through the roof? Do you remember that? Like the late 80s, 90s, 2000s?
Honestly, in the 90s, well, I mean, I'll grant you that. Yeah, sure.
Though during those times, all of those men had those same things to lose, yet they still fell victim to the same things. What I'm saying, if you can go back further in history and it keeps replaying the same way, we can try, we can like we can try our debt. Like it's like trying to convince I hate to use this example, but dogs not to eat meat. You can give them a meat substitute, but it's a good chance that dog may, at this prime level, on a biological level, I think you're trying to add discipline and play more of a role than it really does biologically, and like because you want to believe it and you may have been able to achieve it. Ignore
that's what separates us from the animals.
Those men don't.
That's what separates us from other species is being able to deny ourselves. Otherwise, we would be just like animals. The fact that we can consciously starve ourselves fast, not drink, not eat. The animal can't sit here and say, I'm going to go on a fast.
Yes, they can. It's called hibernation. They do it biologically all the time.
When they hibernate, now, I'm from my understanding of science, they are stocking up on food for the wintertime. That's why the squirrels start piling nuts. I ain't going to use that one because too many balls. But you get what I'm saying. It's a matter of preparing for, naturally preparing for what's to come. But still, I think my argument still rests that, yeah, it's a matter of being able to deny ourselves. Like it don't even matter in hibernation. It can be at the don't matter when it is. We can literally say here today, or collectively, that all four of us are not going to eat for the rest of the weekend or for the next 3 days. Animals can't do that.
I was going to say that all men that have a girlfriend or a wife, all men that have access to sex with other women. There's always someone interested in men that are taken. So those men, I don't know about the single men, but those men who are in a relationship, they have access all the time. You think women ain't looking at them?
I think the men you all see, but there's a large majority of men who don't nobody see.
No, I'm talking about the men who have they're in a relationship. They have a girl. They have women that are interested in them, like when they go to work, wherever, it doesn't matter. They have women that's interested in them, and they have access all the time. No matter what age you are.
We
I agree. A relationship increases your attractiveness, but there's a segment of men who, no matter how they would have went from 0 to 2, not 6 to 9. There's a lot of men do go from 6 to 9 in relationships. I agree with you, like that. I'm saying, but it's a large portion of men who don't even register on the attractiveness level, relationship or not. And those men don't go from 0 to 3 and then
we also, there's another critical piece we forgetting, and it's actually the woman. We didn't think for a second that maybe we communicated to the woman that this is something that we wouldn't do in order to gain her trust, for her to be our wife and have our kids and have an ease of mind that she don't got to deal with that. That's another factor that compels men to achieve faithfulness too, because a lot of these women are adamant about walking away from the relationship if you were to be reckless or, betray her. So that's another thing that helps men maintain discipline and faithfulness. Is losing a woman that he actually loved. And I know men don't like to talk about it because it kind of make you sound weak. But I'm a married man, so I can speak on it. I love my wife, you know what I'm saying? And I told her this is something that I wouldn't do. And she told me she wouldn't want me doing that. And the reason why she trusts me is because I wouldn't.
Darwin, that doesn't sound weak.
No, it don't sound weak.
Some people do think it's weak.
Discussing biology, because that
when you praise a woman in these spaces, come on, trust me. Every time I do it, motherfuckers come for me in the comments, call me simp. But I'm like, this is my damn wife, bro. Like, why can't
JR, can you play the video again?
I have a question.
Who had a question?
I have a question. So the discipline that men learn, where does that come from? Who's responsible for that?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm gonna let somebody else cook, but I got the answer. It's a combination of things.
Let's go.
Are you saying? Wait, did you say
sexual discipline? Where is that? Who's responsible for developing that into a man?
Ooh.
Oh, okay. So who's not responsible for it, but who's responsible for developing that into the man? Of course, the father. If the father's not present, then whatever positive male that they respected, the mother would have to kick in if the father's absent. But absolutely, this is something that should be taught by the father. They should be able to understand that. But I think we're still kind of getting away from it, right? Because it's kind of circling back to the beginning where, I understand the discipline part of it and what men should do and everything. But the idea is, if we bring it back to the beginning, do women truly understand what it is to be a man? Do you understand what it is to wake up in the morning with a raging boner that is just on a mission all day, right? Like, that's just like, okay, what you gonna do, bro? Sometimes and trying to lead the whole day, random. Like, even at teenagers, you just get randoms and you can't help it. So it takes a tremendous amount of discipline for us to just get onto the level of you, right? And that's what men are pretty much doing. We are trying to regulate ourselves to be on a level with women to be compatible. But again, left to our own devices, we could do what it do. And most women will deem us weirdos for actually expressing ourselves sexually, which is why many men turn to multiple women, because this woman can handle this, this woman can handle that, this woman can handle that. And this is the natural desire, right? Most of us, it requires discipline. Most things that we do in our lives, it requires a level of discipline, but that's one of the greatest levels of discipline that you have is to not get in trouble sexually, right? A lot of other things we could just jump into. We could get into a workout plan pretty easy. A good portion of us, right? We could do that. We could get on our purpose. The sex thing, some of the people who are disciplined financially and have everything else good in life, taking care of their family and all that, still slip when it comes to getting some tail. So we have to understand.
It's not a natural thing, that's why.
What's not a natural thing?
It's not a natural thing for a man to maintain stunting himself or closing off access to other women.
That's literally what I was just saying that you was arguing against.
I never argued that it wasn't. I didn't say it wasn't natural. I said it's a matter of sexual discipline. Sexual discipline comes in and makes you unnatural. It gives you the ability to do the unnatural things. Discipline, the whole point of it was to control I wouldn't argue
The
that the whole
urges.
society, but
Oh well, I misunderstood because I was
yeah.
discussing biology.
So like it's something that a man would have to actually subscribe to, and it's a difficult task if you're doing it alone. But if your wife is helping you maintain it, it becomes easy to do. And when
What
I say
about the
easy to
support?
do, she has to help you. Like whenever you need it or whenever you have the urge, her way of helping you is making sure you get your needs met. Or if she
Particularly
don't
if
want
she's
to
an
do it,
initiator.
I think the
don't come
problem
knock,
with
don't come knocking on the
that
door.
is when a wife, because what I kind of notice a lot is wives get very prudish. So men are having urges and desires that they feel uncomfortable talking about or discussing with their wives, and then that's where I kind of feel like a lot of cheating happens from at least what I've experienced, because then you catch a lot of married men in strip clubs talking about, oh, well, I could never talk about this or do this with my wife. So, la da 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 da. But my thing is like in a marriage, aren't you supposed to be telling that other person like your deepest fantasies and desires so you guys can do it
You don't
versus
think men are telling their women that?
no,
They
I think
not
some
doing
of them are
like
actually genuinely embarrassed, and I don't think they're
No.
or because
A
and not even
man who's
embarrassed in
married
a
to a
sense of
woman is
they
not,
want to do it. I think they're embarrassed in the sense
trust
of
me,
if my wife knew that I thought about these things, or if my wife knew I liked these things.
that's the exception. Most men who marry a woman, you've been married for a woman for years. Trust me, you done tried all kind of shit. You don't hung her upside down on the damn wall. Like there's just so many things that you gonna do. If you spending years with this woman, you gotta spend your life. Trust me, it's gonna come to you to where you gonna be like, look, I actually like doing this. Let's do it. It's just sometimes it's just gonna be a no. Like some women are just gonna say no, they don't want to do that.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that's where some of the cheating also comes from, because y'all are saying y'all want to be fulfilled sexually, but there are a lot of women that aren't going past doing missionary with the lights off. That's all they doing.
I get it.
So,
That's pretty
There's
I
wild.
mean,
women out
you
there
ain't
that don't do
gonna
that. But
when you want
that's
to
the
hang her
problem.
upside down from the ceiling fan, you getting a no.
And that's the problem whenever you created a society that police men for being undisciplined. Because when back in the days when a woman would say no, nobody batted an eye when a man was next door banging another chick or something. This was a norm. Like if she couldn't do it, we got somebody else to do it, or we had concubines. Well, why do you think men had all these women making it? It wasn't just a stunt. It was because a
That
lot of
was
these women cannot
the
hang
side
with
chicks was actually helping the
most,
wives out,
the most
maintaining the
powerful and
husband.
the most powerful muscle in the world. Still is the reigning champion. Is the penis, and then women just can't deal with it. They can't, and the
I
way they
don't think
deal
that
with it.
there's anything wrong with a side chick if you and your wife or your girlfriend have that conversation. I just feel like when the narrative starts coming of like the women, the side chick women start having these conversations of like, oh, well, I get to fund him. You just get to hold his social and fill out his paperwork. No, girl, if you're getting some dick, you need to fill out some paperwork too. You need to put some dishes in the dishwasher too. You need to watch some kids too. Do
Period.
some laundry.
Period.
Cause you ain't finna reap all of these damn benefits, and I'm still up here doing 6 loads of laundry. You're damn right. That wife is probably tired because she done 12 loads of laundry, 3 loads of dishes, and you talking about some why you tired? It's because and the side chick not tired. It's because she didn't have to do nothing all day.
Nope.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, why you lying saying it's a matter of you being tired? Just why don't you just be honest and say it's a matter of a woman having to be warmed up to it. She got to get in the zone, the vibe. Women like they don't just want to be thrusted. They want you to rub them and talk to them and get intimate with them. They want that window before the insert, like that foreplay. And that, that why you can't just say that? Why I gotta say you're tired? Because you know that you don't want to get up and do it, you're lazy, and you don't want to just turn to the side.
Summer, Josie, and then Lord Giatron. Let's get to y'all. Listen for a second.
Who you said, Summer?
Yeah. Can you?
Oh, sorry. When you do turn to the side, sometimes just in the context of marriage, this might be TMI, but there was a point in time where I might have been screaming for my husband to come to bed, and it's 11 o'clock at night, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. I got to get up at 3:50 to go to the gym. I'm being told, oh, a man's libido isn't the strongest until 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, that's 50 minutes before my workout time. So he gets up, starts rubbing and rubbing and rubbing. And I'm like, what the heck is going on an hour before my workout time? So I'm like, okay, here you go. Take my body, like whatever you want to do. And the response is, I don't want to do that because it feels like I'm, I don't want to say the R word, violating you in some kind of way. So what do you do in that instance?
But don't just say I'll give you whatever you want. Do whatever you want. You gotta show interest. Like whatever you're thinking in your head, don't say it out loud.
Well, I just tell him, look, I'll probably wake up. Just start.
And I need people to stop acting like turning on your side isn't like can't turn into great sex, because as married people, sometimes you're tired and sometimes the damn just turning on your side and it's starting off as lazy sex could turn into Olympic gold medal champion stuff. Okay,
that's the message.
Like,
right
stop
there.
playing, because I feel like only unmarried people laugh at laying on your side.
Yeah,
well, look, to try to answer your question, it's a matter. Your question is a matter. Your situation is a matter of courtesy.
Huh?
Your situation, that scenario you painted was just a matter of courtesy. Like
welcome back, Ray.
I think a man had to be an asshole. If I know that my wife got to get up at 3 a.m. to go to the gym, and she's trying to give me, some at 11 o'clock so she can get ample enough rest so she can have the energy to go to work out. And I don't want to come down there. I'm not going to hold her to the fire at 3 a.m. knowing she got to get. That's a matter.
I appreciate that.
That's a relationship.
Yeah, no, that's extra.
That's just a man being an asshole, and he's just flexing his masculinity in the wrong way. I'm not gonna let y'all bait me into calling it toxic masculinity. So nice try. He's just using He's just using his authority or his. I'm a man. You should submit and compromise.
Entitlement.
Yeah, that's
you nailed it. Yeah, that's why we're not together now.
I'm not gonna do that, especially when I got an opportunity. I'm not gonna just put it on her like fuck. Like,
yeah,
I'll just wait till you come back from the gym.
That's the difference. If you were inviting at 11, then then you're just
I
talking to a person
Oh,
that's
yeah.
unreasonable. You know what I mean? At that point, I don't think most men would have a gripe with that. If you were saying, "Hey,
I don't give a fuck about you,"
time for dessert, then
turn over or the taxes turn over. Like, I'm not gonna do that to my woman.
Thank you. I appreciate the validation for sure.
But if your man's doing that, you probably need this.
We're no longer together.
You probably need to ask. You probably need to, I don't think you letting them know, like, baby, I really want to get some rest. Are you okay with?
Oh, it's been communicated fully.
I don't think you're having that conversation.
I can't believe it, Jesus.
But I could be wrong. Your husband could be an asshole. I mean, not your. That's your husband.
So
he's soon to be ex. We're
separated
for 3 years.
So there's other ways. There's other ways around that too, because it's like, all right, so let's say gym time was 3 to such and such. How about after gym? Because you still within that window. If it's like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, you still within that window. It don't start to dwindle till like 7, 8. But if you still before 6, you probably pretty good.
But would he still have that peak if you did it once or twice before that day? I don't think so, right? Or she left.
I think we're getting too personal now.
I'm sorry. Are you guys asking me?
You need to go sex therapy with your man. Figure that shit out.
Yeah, man. I think she had to get a towel or something.
Because 11 p.m. he playing Call of Duty. He probably playing Call of Duty or 2K at 11 o'clock. He ain't on Lapeef because I ain't see that nigga.
She's like, this is too much.
Man, I think Josie and then Lord Jill. He's borrowing the trip on one.
Just put a towel on it. Go ahead, Giatron.
Was there a question? Because I had some Why
Yeah,
fight issues of
it was.
We already know.
We're gonna leave it alone. We're gonna leave it
Go ahead,
Okay.
Jason.
alone.
Hey, what's going on, fellas, ladies? I got in the
What's
show
up?
a little late. My phone's about to die. I'm on the phone right now. I'm not hooked up to the system. I just wanted to share something and get out of you guys' way. A lot of guys are fearing judgment. A lot of guys have extremely low self-esteem, and I've been noticing this at the gym and at work a lot. Guys, they don't even like to talk about women. I don't want to talk about the battle of the sexes type issues. That's irrelevant. But as far as the men in the society that we're in, particularly black men, low self-esteem, lack of masculinity, lack of leadership, lack of mentorship, those types of things combined with fearing rejection and things like that, like the poll question asked, a lot of guys are suffering in silence. We have a hypersexualized society that we're living in, a two-income society where it takes a man and a woman just to survive as one person. And when you got a lot of single guys who don't have that second income from the other person, combined with not being able to get another person, hopefully Donald Trump's male empowerment agenda might help out a little bit. But we have a crisis on our hands of a level that goes beyond just trying to talk about it. We mentorship. A lot of guys need mentorship. I'm sorry to get here so late, guys. Sorry to intrude. Hey, I just wanted to share some tidbits, maybe drop a few seeds and give us a little bit of food for thought. My phone's about to die. Maybe I can catch you guys on the rebound. I love you guys the most. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Josie.
Hey, we gotta get Ray and Josie in there.
Yeah, get sexual ed in there. I mean, Josie. What? Name Josie. Josie.
What? What about me? What?
Go ahead, Josie.
As far as men's drive, they have a very high sex drive. You know that biologically. That's not news to me.
Mm-hmm. Ray, you said that all that time, and that's all you had to say.
I mean, you know my stance on this, Lapeef. I don't really get into the whole sex relationship thing. I'm more so into the generational wealth thing. What do we have? Because if women could be quite honest, a lot of times our libido and our sex drive is motivated by the way the man treats us and the things we have in our quality of life and our lifestyle. So
his wallet too, right?
Absolutely. And when like
why do men say that like that's supposed to make us feel bad?
No,
Isn't
White actually made a good point earlier when he was talking
when
about
they be like, oh, his wallet makes a woman want
to. I ain't never had a problem with my wallet making a woman wet.
No, I'm not saying men having a problem. I'm saying why do men say that like it's supposed to make us feel guilty?
I think you should be empowered when you make a man ante up. Yeah.
No, I'm saying
I'm the one who's leading the march. That men who don't want committed relationship, long-term relationship, to be a husband and father. I'm leading the march to say, hey, we need to go mess with the sex workers if we don't want, so we can leave the pure women or the women that are looking for intention alone, so they don't get finesse.
Either way, you gotta have money even for the sex workers. That's the point.
Yeah, you do. And if you ain't got no money, then you don't need to be doing
access to women. You gotta have money.
Two things. If you ain't got no money and you don't want a relationship, you shouldn't be having sex. Because what is you doing? What happens when a man that don't have no money and he don't want no relationships, but he out here having sex? What's the result?
No, these men want sex, but
baby
they don't have
mamas.
money.
Exactly.
They want sex, but they don't have money. That's the problem.
And they make baby mamas.
And the problem with y'all on that end is y'all giving it to them niggas.
Who?
Y'all giving broke men who don't even want to have relationships.
Who's y'all?
The booty.
I ain't never.
I'm talking about your team.
I like
gold diggers. I feel like the only people that call women gold diggers is men without no gold.
So y'all sitting here lying to me. Y'all ain't
they be broke as hell talking about a gold digger. I've never heard a man that can afford a family and a woman be mad about a woman that wants to be afforded.
Why y'all lying?
You know,
it's giving poverty.
Why y'all can't be honest and say that y'all done gave it up for the free?
Stop lying.
When?
Who did that?
Y'all lying.
Y'all ain't never gave it up.
You better ask about me.
Who did that?
I can ask about you. Let me know that you done probably gave it up for the free.
Okay. If I did, I wouldn't say.
Who did that?
You.
I've
I know
never
you
done
won't
that.
get it. Just say you don't want to admit that.
I've never done
Just
that.
say you broke and you can't afford that.
Well,
I've never done
Just
that.
making my point. If I'm broke and I can't afford it, why should it be given to me?
You was the same one arguing about the mortgages in California, Darwin. I don't trust your opinion on this.
What? Arguing about what? So
you was complaining about people quality of life and how much it costs to live out here. So I know you about to nickel and dime a girl. Cause you ain't got it like that.
Listen,
or you might be cheap. You might be cheap. You might not be broke because you've been on here.
I don't know. Okay, Ray, let me ask you this. Which one is worse? A broke man or a cheap man? I feel like a cheap man is worse than a broke man.
They equal because they ain't gonna
No. Because a broke man could go get some money and he'll give it all to you. A cheap man could have all the money and he just refused to give it to you.
Right.
I can't stand a cheap man.
I don't care what category you're in.
Right.
Wow.
Let me correct you because you just mischaracterized me. And I don't appreciate that. No, but all due respect. The type of nigga I would bought your pussy and gave it to one of my homeboys. That's the type of shit I was on.
What was it before? After you was making money off YouTube? YouTube.
You just say
before after YouTube, Darwin.
I'm just saying that's the type of shit I was on. I wasn't no cheap.
You can't afford me. You can't even afford to be in California. So how you was gonna find
me? I didn't make no case. I don't remember no argument about I can't afford to be a car. Let me correct you. In California, what I was talking about
was complaining about the California prices. You could never find me.
And I was trying to get an understanding about the square footage.
And then you started complaining.
Listen to what I'm saying, right? I was complaining about the square feet. Your claim that the square feet has nothing to do with whether it was a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartment. I'm saying most of the time it can. If you have larger square feet, that means you can fit multiple bedrooms and multiple bathrooms. The smaller, the less probability you have for an architect to be able to fit it in the blueprint. That's all I'm saying.
Darwin, you can't afford a house in California, so how was you gonna find me?
I can afford a house anywhere in the United States.
Where you live, Darwin?
Lord Jesus, Ray.
Oh, what neighborhood in Atlanta? My friend lived down there.
Well, I can't tell you all that. You can hit me up. You can hit me up offline. I can tell you.
I know that right.
So I'm telling me you trying to get tricked.
You saying you can afford me, but you can't afford my lifestyle.
You trying to find out where I live at.
You can't afford my lifestyle, so how can you afford me?
I ain't got to afford your lifestyle.
So how can you have set pay for me then?
I could afford 10 minutes.
A quick bit.
That's it.
Right. Like I said, can't afford me, can't come find me, can't
Are y'all negotiating on live? What you doing?
He brought it up. I'm just saying, can he afford to come find me?
Oh my God.
Wait, how much is it? Who?
Ray, you don't even know who you talking to right now.
Lapeef, you might have a budget though.
I'd have made you change your name, everything. I'd be amazed you want to change your name.
Sound good.
I made women throw their money back.
Money talk, though.
I want to come home with you.
Money talk.
How much money you need and how often
money
you
talk. Y'all, everybody saying how much they. Yeah,
right.
you ain't bragging about that.
Because we can get some money together if you
y'all not even. Can you afford to come find me? Can you? Huh?
If you're willing to sell often, maybe I can help procure your clients. I just need to know the
I don't
base.
need your help.
White, what type of street life you trying to live, sir?
I don't need your help. He's still listening to me. He's still listening to me. And White, look at you, being dusty, trying to eat off my plate.
That's so crazy.
He's still listening to me. Why you try to enter the chat? Sell your own stuff.
Whoa.
If somebody want it.
Pause, and pause. Damn. Yo. Marcus, you just got
Take charge of
disrespected,
your
bro.
own
God
shit.
damn it.
Don't try to
No, you're talking
intervene with what I got going
if
on.
I needed to, I can sell some dick to somebody. I promise you, I can get it off. But
Men generally don't
you
sell
wasn't
D. They
talking about
usually sell
They don't.
pussy,
It's not
but
market
Yeah,
that's
I
for
don't
another
know
them.
what
story.
we talking about.
M.
That
White, what you say? I heard that, M. White. I feel like you tried to say that low, but I heard that.
His wife
I
gonna
believe
watch
it.
it and be mad.
No. She watching right now. Hey, baby, if I needed to, couldn't I sell some dick if I needed to? Now, back to it. What I said was, if you was trying to sell it to
That's
Darwin, y'all was
crazy.
negotiating prices. I was saying,
Darwin trying to buy it. It's a difference.
Trust me, I'm not trying to buy you at all, period.
So what was you even talking about?
I wasn't even talking. You brought all this up.
So you okay?
I'm a married man, Ray.
You brought it up talking about what? Yeah, all right.
For all the men on the panel, I would like to know what's the most you've ever spent on some coochie.
Oh.
See, y'all trying to get niggas in trouble.
Make it rain. Hey.
Y'all trying to get niggas in trouble in here.
Bow.
I want to know what's the most. I mean, like, you know, that could have been back in the day.
Are you talking about like a direct, like straight?
Yeah.
Oh no, we
Transaction.
don't do that.
What's up?
We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do
Okay,
that.
okay. You gonna say you don't? Okay, cool. So let me reiterate. Let me reiterate the conversation there.
Being true.
So the date, you sent the black truck. You paid for the food. You paid for the drinks.
Okay.
You paid for all of these things that led to immediate reciprocation of the coochie. How much?
Are we talking
was
about?
that?
Fortunately, I made my mistakes very early. So, outside of wifey, because she gets whatever, right? But if you talking about back in the day, just on like a regular joint, like we talking about, I might have went down like 100 something. But you got to adjust that for inflation, which would probably be like, maybe like 2 or something like that. But after a while, you realize you ain't got to do nothing like that. And I was just like on some date shit. It wasn't like, oh, this is what's gonna, like straight up tricking. That shit is crazy. We ain't doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, so you talking
Not
about
necessary.
You talking about tricking?
Tricking is crazy. Tricking is crazy. For what? Shit.
talking about
You owe me
tricking or
some
being with a
bread
woman,
after the.
period?
You owe me some bread. What you talking about?
What she owe you some bread for?
You got to hit the back chat for that. But
hey, what they be doing?
Bow.
What situations make a man?
Oh my God.
What situations make a man expect that he's gonna get some from a woman?
I've been told I get paid. What are you talking about? But listen, that's neither here nor there. I'm not a prostitute, so it is what it is. But I just don't believe in any prostitution whatsoever. I am not a proponent for that, men or women.
The whole reason why
I feel like it's an equal exchange.
The whole reason why this topic was brought up because, and the ladies, you can agree or disagree. If you would rather have a man tell you that that's the only thing he wants, than to be finessing you out of your box, right? Because then you can send him over to the women who are charging for it, right? Because if you want to be a mother, you want to be a wife, last thing you want to do is be opening your legs to a man who that's not what he wants. That's all I'm saying. But that's how you keep the women with, because there's an argument going around that, oh, these women got a body count, and these women got all this sexual experience, and they got soul ties and all. It eliminates that, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
And the only people that would have to suffer for it is for the women who are sex workers that are trying to become wives after they do their run.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, and the argument is valid. Like, yeah, you got too many bodies, you can't. But we don't want that to be the same story for the women who are not trying to be sex workers. You know what I'm saying? We want their story to be as pure as possible.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
I feel like the only men who really got to pay is when you are around a woman who doesn't want to be with you. If she don't want to be around you, then yeah, you may end up having to pay for her time. But if she really into you, like I don't see the point. I don't see the point.
You don't see the point of
you've
what?
You've already invalidated yourself by trying to pay for her time. Once you introduce yourself as a trick, you already lost.
How do you lose?
You lost leverage by even acknowledging that she's worth you paying for. Why are
One
you
with
paying
me.
for a woman?
One with me.
If a woman is, but first of all, you got to scout these women and see if any of them are even.
I didn't hear you right. What was that?
One with me.
One with you.
What?
He
What
said
that
you
mean?
already lost. I said, what a one with me?
Who lost?
How?
The
He
man
would've
that
lost
presented
bread,
himself
right?
as a trick. She's saying the man that presents himself as a trick already won with her. Y'all heard
How? He
her.
just lost bread and gained what?
Well, see, that's where you're wrong, Trev.
What you mean? They both won.
It's
A
his money.
trick. What is he losing?
What did he
So
gain?
what is the man losing?
What does he win?
What is a trick losing?
What
Money.
is he
you worried about a trick
losing?
like
Nothing.
that
I
if
don't
you
feel
ain't
like he
about it?
Let me
losing
ask you this.
nothing.
Dignity.
Let me rephrase
Money,
the question.
dignity, respect.
Why you hating on the tricks though if you ain't about that?
It was a question presented to me. I'm not hating on them. Do what y'all do. I just don't. I'm not a proponent of it.
I mean, okay, this is what I don't understand though, right? I don't understand the narrative of
Why is it a
people
law?
swearing to God that like, oh my God, tricking is this terrible thing and I would never
It
and da
is.
da da da. But it's like at the end
You
of the
mad,
day,
Trev?
when really a man is not gaining anything. Because don't y'all say that all the time? Y'all are gaining stress. Y'all are gaining more bills. Y'all are gaining more of a headache. You're gaining more labor. You're gaining all of these things to make sure that woman gets her nails done, her hair done, all of her bills paid. She has beautiful kids. La da da da. Okay, so like we saying what did the trick gain or lose? But what is anybody besides that woman
It's the
winning or
equal
losing?
exchange. That's why I said nobody gains or loses. It's the
Y'all
equal
are looking at the
exchange.
exchange. Y'all are
It
looking
cancels
at the
out.
exchange differently. Instead of looking at it that way, what is the desired outcome? The desired outcome is for her to get some money, and whoever the women are, they can vouch. And the desired outcome for the man is to get a good time. He's not really paying you for the good time. He's just paying you to leave him alone and don't bother him.
That's what men are paying
Because
their
I would
wives
argue
for
that if it's a
too.
woman that's
Thank you. I wasn't gonna say nothing later because
That's
I'm
what
not married. I'm
men are
thinking
paying their
like
wives for too. When
wives
you're
are
paying, when
literally
you give her
Wives don't go
glorified
away.
sex workers.
that too. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. When
The
I
same
get that
thing.
$200 to go to TJ Maxx, you know what that man does?
okay.
My
You
man
being
takes a nap
you being
because he
disrespectful.
wanted to take a nap in absolute silence and
Yep.
peace. He paid
Same
me
thing.
to leave him alone.
You're not having an honest
Or
conversation.
seeing you with your friends while he go do what he want to do. Here goes some money for
Exactly.
y'all.
Like
Same thing.
I'm saying that it's the same thing on both sides,
I was
but the men are looking like, oh, the tricks are terrible. I would never.
well. Here's a
Husbands
problem
are
with your
I
tricking
argument.
never
too,
said they
though.
were terrible. I just
Here's
said
a
it's
problem
more
with your argument. If a
Husbands are
advantageous.
tricking
What kind of
too.
men are they?
Here's a problem with
They
your
just
argument.
on a higher level.
If a man mess with a woman, let's say he finessing her, because that's the other end of it. He's not telling her his true intention. He's internally he's there just so he can smash, and he's just telling her everything she
That's
wants to do.
every dude, Darwin. Let's stop gaslighting.
Well, I'm just trying to give you a scenario before you try to argue whether it's every or
I'm
not.
not arguing. I'm just saying let's keep it a bean. I thought this was a real conversation. We're adults. All men want sex.
You know, you can't. I can't give you the
At some
full.
point,
I can't give you the full. I'm just trying to give you the full scenario. Let's just say a man is trying to. What would you rather have? Or let me paint a scenario because she fucked my whole shit up.
uh-oh.
You're trying to. The man is finessing a woman. He's telling her everything she want to hear, so he can get the desired outcome. The desired outcome is to get the cheeks. Now, he might say that he might sell her the fact that he want to get to know her and all that stuff, and he like being around her.
It doesn't matter. He still
The
wants
problem
to
with
smash.
that. The problem with that. The difference between that man and that man who's tricking is if she see the man. If she see a man who's tricking with another woman, she ain't gonna be like, "Well, why you with her?"
I don't care either way.
But if she see the man who's finessed her and sold her the dream, she gonna be like, "Why are you with her?" Right? You see the difference?
She sounds slow.
Can
So
you
if you
explain?
think we slow, that we can't
Does
relate.
anybody understand what I'm saying? I broke it down.
I get it.
Do any women understand that scenario?
So you tell me you don't understand that, right?
Do any other women? I don't believe in it because I know all men just want to smash, whether they telling you they want to be with you or not. They still want to smash.
Initially, she's not wrong. Initially, that's always the motive.
Always.
But
I get what Ray's saying. Ray is just saying all men want to smash. Some men just want smashing plus something. So
for free.
There's such thing as a man want to be with you too.
Why you gotta
I don't know why we acting like that's not.
They only say that when they don't have no money, girl. I swear to God, it come down to what they can afford. Like
I think we projecting now, Ray, because some of these women are married, and they can attest that.
What do that mean? A man is a man, whether he married or not. That's what I'm saying. Stop gaslighting. Y'all do that a lot.
Well, I'm just saying, like you can't ingest the fact that there are some men that want more than sex.
What? It doesn't matter if they want more than the baseline is still sex.
But that wasn't my argument.
I didn't say it was. I'm just saying let's.
My argument. We understand that both of them want sex. The difference between the trick does not want a relationship with you.
The one is paying and one is not. That's the difference.
The second
you keep
person
trying to purposely leave that out.
The trick doesn't want a relationship with you. He's paying you, so you don't try to force him or compel him to having a relationship with him.
You're purposely leaving out the money door when the difference is the trick is willing to pay. The dusty.
I just said that.
The other one is trying to act like they want a relationship because they don't have money.
I said the trick is paying you, so you don't feel compelled to try to influence him or convince him that there should be something more. He don't want nothing else to do with you after that.
Neither one of them probably don't.
The other guy.
Where's the money?
I just told you he paid you.
How about that shmoney?
Dude, I'm just saying from a woman's perspective, I know.
She said she don't give a damn. She want the funyuns because we can't have no funyun if it ain't got no munyon in his pocket.
You didn't hear me say that the trick is paying her.
Yeah, but what she's saying is you missing it. Okay, I think this is what she's saying. She's saying that in her experience, most men are only claiming that they want this relationship because they can't afford to be the trick. So they still want the same sex that the trick would be getting, but because they can't afford to just straight out pay for it, they give feelings because feelings are free. That's what she's saying. Feelings are free.
She's arguing something totally different than what I was
the girlfriend trap.
I wasn't talking about broke men that can't afford it.
I think Lady Di trying to get in there too after Dara. Go ahead.
I only think I was talking about a man who's got the money to pay. He can afford to pay. He's paying you so he don't have to deal with you no more. He's paying you for your time. And then whenever you leave him alone, if you see him with another woman or anything like that, you can't say nothing about it. Versus the guy who finessed you into thinking it was something more. After he's done with you, you see him with another woman, you're going to be like, hold on, you lied to me. That's my whole argument.
Go ahead, Lady.
It's Reyes, right? That's how you say your name?
Ray.
It's Ray.
Ray. Okay, I don't know why I heard
Ray.
Somebody in the comments said, Lord, they charging us for the coochie you gave them for free.
So because with M. White,
he late. That's the oldest profession in.
Because what M. White was saying, like men, they're born to just have a lot of sex with a lot of women. You don't think men could be in a committed relationship? That's what you're saying?
Well, I said it's unlikely, and it's for several reasons. I'm looking at biologically. I'm also reading this book. It's called What Men Don't Want Women to Know. It's currently not in production. You can't really buy it online. And they go deep into this topic. 2 men wrote it anonymously. It's a really good book. We're gonna read it in my book club. But yeah, like I said, just from my education and understanding of evolutionary psychology and biology, no, they're not going to just be with one woman. They were not wired to be that way, and that's just how it is. Some things you have to accept in life.
So have you ever been in a serious relationship where a man just wanted to be with you, or you never had that experience? I'm just asking.
Yeah, I could say he told me that, but obviously we're not with them 24/7. So I would be naive and dumb to sit up here and say I know for a fact what he would or would not have done. I'm not the type of person. I don't live in a fantasy world. I'm not like a lot of women. I don't live in la la land. I accept things for what they are, and I'm very content with my reality and the reality of men. It's okay to me that they desire multiple women. That does not bother me whatsoever.
So if so you're basically saying if you are with a man and he tell you that he's not going to cheat, he only is going to, you know, be monogamous and desire to be with you, you're going to tell him that he's lying because of the books that you're reading.
No, I'm gonna say okay, but in my mind, I'm gonna think what I want to think. Like what you said earlier, I don't have to say everything I think.
Okay, so that means that based off of the books and stuff or whatever you think, you just gonna think basically he's lying. He's just saying that to me to get the box for, is it for free or whatever you was talking about? Like he's not.
It's never free.
How much is it?
So that means you don't trust. You don't trust.
Talk off camera, Lapeef.
Oh.
Okay. So you just don't trust men at all. I'm just asking a question.
It's not about trust. Like I said, I'm coming from a scientific understanding of this. It's not about trust. So it's the difference between believing something and knowing something, right? I know that men are not wired to be monogamous. So therefore, I'm not going to sit here and try to convince myself, even if he told me he's monogamous, that he is. It doesn't make me a difference.
So what you're saying is that you're betting on his scientific makeup instead of you betting on his word, because his word is him trying to fight his scientific makeup.
His word
that's pretty much what she's saying. She's saying that she has accepted that men are going to cheat, men are supposed to cheat, men are not supposed to be monogamous. So instead of believing that a man will fight his nature, she will accept it if he offers to try and fight his nature. But when he loses at fighting his nature, she won't be disappointed because that's what she already thought he was going to do.
I didn't say anything about disappointment or anything. I said because I've accepted.
No, I'm saying you wouldn't be, like, it wouldn't hurt you if he did it because you already expected him to.
Yeah, it's like, it's not even my personal expectations. I need y'all as women to understand there is so much research and so many case studies on this about men's sexual activity. The studies actually started in the 60s with Masters and Johnsons, and they actually had a show on Showtime. It was called Johnson. It was called Masters and Johnsons. And this is what they talked about. And they did so many studies on this. Even when they did a study in the 70s on fidelity, almost like this is way before social media. Almost 90% of men said they were not faithful. And then when they did or they said they had stepped out on their wives. And then when they did another study on the college campus, all the boys went for the decoy except for the ones that didn't go for the girl that approached them for sex. They said they didn't do it because they thought it was a prank or somebody was watching them. Other than that, they would have went for it. So 100% of men will sleep with women that approach them.
So,
and I tried to make this art.
What about the women who cheat on their man? What's the
Are we
reason for
talking
that?
about men or women?
I just changed. I'm talking about women now. I got you on the men. I'm just trying to ask
when women cheat, it's largely because of they feel emotionally hurt or they trying to get back at the man. It's not because they thing was popping so hard or with so much testosterone pumping in their blood where they had to get it off. No, it's usually retaliation or them feeling hurt or scorned by the man. Women are not natural. You're a woman. We don't naturally desire multiple men like that.
But there are women that do, right?
Well, there are a small percentage of men that will tell you, "Oh, I would never step out on my woman." It's always gonna be that small. That they're called the outliers. That's not when we have discussions like this. Try to keep it in general because we're going to talk about the masses. We're not talking about the outliers.
No, I know. I talk about majority all the time. I'm just trying to see your overall point.
Lady, Di, you know what's up. You know what's up. You know how men are. I think a lot of times women would be a lot better off if they just accepted things for how they were instead of resisting nature.
No, I'm not trying to fight nothing. I'm just asking questions. So basically, if a lady is fighting desires to sleep with other men, because there are women out there that's like that, why can't men fight their desires to not have multiple women if they're
it's
trying?
Not the same because men, it's biological. So men have a lot of testosterone pumping in their blood and they're socialized a lot differently. So you can't make the comparison.
I'm not making the comparison like women are like men. That's not what I'm making. I'm saying that people fight desires every day. So
but the type of
what's wrong with
desires
that? I'm just asking what's wrong with that.
Women are not fighting the same desires as me. I don't believe that.
No, I'm saying women do fight desires, right? So when they're
Like,
with men, it
like
might not be
what?
sexually. It might not be sexually. We talking
What?
about money earlier, right? Women would want a man that has more money, correct?
So you saying if you with a man and would you leave him for a man with more money?
Women are fighting that desire all the time. You don't think
that's on
so?
them. That's why I say start off with a man with money and then you won't have to feel like that.
There's always more money though. Right?
Not necessarily. Like I talked about a while back, it's about home ownership to me, generational wealth. You don't have to be Jeff Bezos to achieve that.
No, I agree to that. I'm just saying majority of women today, sometimes the money that we're speaking about is not enough. They want more. And
then
they're fighting their desire.
They should be
What?
single like me.
So so that's what I'm trying to get at. You just saying if that's the case, you're saying that you rather be single than deal with men who are fighting their desires, or you would be in a polygamous relationship.
I'm gonna be with a man who.
Huh.
If I was gonna be with a man, first of all, my first priority would not be who all he's sleeping with. It would be what do we own? What do we have in the Black community? They be so focused on petty, like I'm not gonna say it's petty, but it's stuff that can be manipulated. It's stuff that can be fixed or switched out or whatever. What do we have at the end of the day? What are we committing to? Vagina and penis? That's petty to me.
This the argument. This was the conversation that we was just having in regards to biology. I didn't see that study, but I know it to be true from what Race was talking about. I just know, man. I know how it works. I know, like, historically how it's worked. It's you may be able to fight your biology, but understand that it's a fight and it's not the same fight. She right when she's saying that. It's just not the same fight. Like proof of that is that lady Bonnie Blue or whatever, right? No man exists that's fine enough that can just say, hey, I'm gonna be in Chicago tomorrow. I want to have sex with 1,000 women. Come line up and sleep with me. There is not an attractive man enough in the world that exists that can do that. It's impossible. Now, on the other hand, Bonnie Blue is not the most attractive woman in the world, but 1,000 men, wherever she drop her location, in less than 5 hours, be lined up trying to go inside her. We are different. Like it just is what it is. I'm not saying it's right. It's just the biology. That shit is what it is. I'm not saying they right to go do it. It's just like if we deal with that, then we could fix everything from that point.
I mean, at the end of the day, I guess my question would be like, what does it like when she said, "What are we committing to?" Like, we committing to body parts. I guess that do kind of make sense though, because it's kind of like people be so wrapped up in like, oh my God, he cheated, she cheated, da 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 da. And sometimes when I hear that shit, I do kind of be like, that man ain't got no car. You got more things to worry about than where he put his penis. Like, you got more things to worry about. Like, you couldn't pay your rent for the last 2 months. You got more things to worry about than what she did with her vagina. Like, I guess that makes sense though, because it's like we be so focused on relationship wise, like, oh, what's the body count? What they did sexually and who they sleeping with and did they cheat and are they gonna cheat? But at the end of the day, you can't take your husband's or your boyfriend's monogamy to the rent office. So I don't know. That's just me though.
What is y'all talking
I think
about?
it's we should all be single. What's the like overall point of it? What's the end goal, Ray? I'm asking you.
I think Ray just
Generational wealth is the end goal, Lady Di, and I'm gonna always keep saying that. That's always the end goal.
Ray don't believe a man could be a man of his word. That's her problem.
I just need the man to be able to set us up for generational wealth before I get out into his personal sexual desires. What do we have?
And when men can be monogamous, that sustains those material things that you need too. So I think that's something that we have to recognize. The biology can be tamed by how we're socialized. And the purpose of that is survival for the whole entire family. So when a man has bonded with a woman, you're looking at sustainability for those material needs to be provided for you. So what do we have here? What do we have here?
That's what I heard Ray saying, because I think y'all may be misinterpreting what she's saying. She's saying that she understands the biology of men in sentence. Because she understands the biology of men, that she's not going to put an expectation on them that is counter to their biology in sentence. If they want to get in a monogamous relationship, she will accept it, but she's not going to go out her way acting crazy when men falls victim to his biology in sentence. She would prefer the man does what he's supposed to do for his family, and that's the thing she's measuring him on in sentence, and nothing else other than that. Is that not correct in your?
Well, I do care about his character. Obviously, he has to be respectful and loving and treat us good. But oh my God, I'm about to be checking his phone. Like, he can't just be disrespecting me or nothing like that. But I'm not about to. Like, I know what men be on when they go on the boys' trip, the bachelor parties. Like, I'm not naive. I'm not like a lot of these women who want to fool themselves into believing he only have eyes for me. Men are not wired to only have eyes for one woman. It just doesn't work like that. I know that. I've studied it. That's just how it goes. I didn't make the rules. I'm not God. I just understand God is the creator, and God created and designed things in the creator's likeness. I know.
Yeah. And the video we just watched, that was dude's point. I don't know if y'all heard him say. He was like, most are dishonest. And if they were honest, they would say, and then he led with that. That's why I went into the whole conversation about biology. That was the reason based off the video. That's why I was saying replay the video.
All right. So you saying that most men actually feel like they want to do something, but they just wouldn't be honest and tell their wives?
If most men are attracted to women at a biological level and want to go, right? Mm-hmm. And now it's possible that, and they will not be honest about that biology because of the societal expectations of monogamy. So men lie about that thing. Whether they're going to or are able to cheat is not what he was discussing. He was strictly saying this is the biology of men that society has pushed out, that they can't discuss openly for fear of retribution or being pigeonholed as the terrible man, when it's the nature of the man that was like this. He wasn't saying go cheat. He just said cheating is wrong. He was just describing how society has demonized the biology of men to the point they cannot be honest about it. And when they try and be honest, they will be ridiculed and attacked.
Yeah.
And that does not justify cheating. He was clear on that. I'm not justifying cheating. I'm not saying you should cheat. I'm just speaking to the biology of men if they would be honest. It doesn't say that discipline can't maybe get you to that end goal.
So then should the current wives be concerned?
I think that's up to the person. But if you understand the biology of men, I don't think it would.
Concerned about which part? With the cheating?
I think if a woman is
not cheating.
If a man tells his woman, because I can argue that I don't think any man on this panel right now got an issue communicating what he genuinely wants to his wife. I mean, if that's the case, and that's I think that's where the problem lies. But I think that if a man is telling his wife, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, this is what I walk by, and she can't believe that, then I think she should be concerned. I think there needs to be a conversation had, especially if he's not standing by that, what he's saying he believes in, or he's not giving. This is a matter of trust, because she has expectations now. You created expectations. You created expectations for her to learn about you. So now she knows how you're moving. But if you're doing something otherwise, or you don't even want to do what you communicated that you were about, then that's a trust issue. So like if I'm gonna tell my wife, hey, look, this is what I'm gonna be. I'm gonna maintain my discipline. I'm not gonna be messing. I only want to be with you. If that's my word, what's wrong with her taking my word for it? That's all I'm saying.
Are you saying, Darwin, that majority of men desire to be with one woman once they fall in love, and they're only going to be with that one woman, and it's going to be easy for them to do?
I didn't say it was easy or hard. I didn't give you a level of difficulty. And I'm saying
give me a level of difficulty, and add these quantifiers.
I would say the level of difficulty fluctuates based on his exposure and how he's moving. If he's out here hanging around a whole bunch of women who are constantly trying to throw it at him, or he's out here drinking and his judgment is impaired, then the level of difficulty is going to obviously fluctuate. he's not going to be able to use the right judgment to make the right decision whenever he's tempted. But I'm saying if a man has a desired outcome, I believe men are, this one thing that makes a man very powerful. When he sets his mind to be able to do something, whether it's to take apart an engine or whatever, and exhaust himself and defy his need for rest or whatever, he's going to do it. He has the power to be able to do that, just like he would be able to do if he decided that he wanted to just focus on one woman. It's about the outcome he wants. If the outcome he wants is to be with multiple women, and then he's trying to fixate himself on one woman, of course that man is going to struggle. But I feel like if it's the outcome that the man wants, I believe wholeheartedly a man can achieve that. That's what makes us kings, because we have the power to be able to do that.
And I think that's all what Lady Doubt basically saying, that it is possible for a man to be disciplined. But on the other side, I don't think a lot of wives, not you, Lady Doubt, but I don't think a lot of wives are aware of these desires.
That's true. I'm very aware to all of that stuff. I was just trying to figure out the end goal of what is being said. That's all. Because I know when you get with a man and a man gets with a woman, you have kids, and that's part of the generational wealth is having a large family. So all this money that's being made is not just going to be for two people. It should be for the generation. Generation is people. So I was just trying to understand, do you want a relationship, not want one? That's all.
So Ray, just real quick before we get to these super chats, get up out of here. With you knowing all of this knowledge about men, if you are in a relationship, are you remaining faithful or in a marriage?
I'm not in a relationship or marriage.
No, I know I didn't say you were. I'm saying a hypothetical. So you saying that you would never get into a relationship or get married?
Probably not. I don't know. It's not really on I told y'all it's not a priority of mine. I really don't wake up focused on it.
Well, then how you gonna build that generational wealth then?
Well, in my case, I already got a generation.
Okay, what is that? What does that mean?
Kids. So how can I build it? I'm already building it. I'm already building it for myself, but I'm saying is if a man
I think the better question to ask her is would she tell a man whether or not she would be faithful? Like, is that even on the table for you?
You saying if I was in a relationship, yeah, I would be faithful.
Yeah, I think that's all Jay was trying to say.
Y'all thought she said she would cheat? Y'all gotta listen to her.
I didn't hear none of that.
No, she didn't say that.
No, I was just asking a question.
No, I wouldn't cheat if I was in a
if she knew that these men had these desires and there was a strong possibility because of biology. If that would affect her being loyal or not.
No, because I'm not going to spread my cat around based off what he doing with his. I can't. My cat is no. That's not what we doing.
But what if it was for the right money?
Once again, Lapeef, we gotta talk off camera.
See there?
No, I was saying this earlier. The money, women. Okay.
For the right price, a lot of women will go, but we knew that.
Oh shit! Are you one of them?
Y'all gonna keep listening to me on this.
I don't. Again, I feel like we keep asking questions about things that everybody isn't a part of it though. Because the thing is I feel like just about almost everybody got a price.
Whoa.
Everybody got a price.
It might be a whole nother conversation.
Y'all talk like this, y'all are telling
y'all is gonna get. Hey,
what's your price?
My price?
Y'all not gonna get me in trouble.
You said everybody got a price.
I said almost everybody. Just about almost everybody do.
Okay.
I agree.
Well, that's not what he asked you. So what's your price?
I'm not.
No, it's not
nothing to do with everybody.
Put down, Ray.
You said what?
Ray, I didn't hear you.
I didn't say nothing. That's why you didn't hear me.
Oh, okay.
Don't do it to yourself, Lash.
Everybody mute up, man. Echo.
Laisha, you better shut it.
I ain't say nothing.
Mills, 36 $2 says every man cheats. Sorry, but not sorry, Lady Di. Story to tell, $10 says man with 4 inches needs to be efficient and mouth work and gang signs. Most women don't orgasm from solely penetration, if at all. Bruno with the 199 super sticker. Rice, $5 says most women aren't even tracking their ovulation periods, but they expect guys to strap it up. JC, $5 says Ray can't even get her internet right, talking about broke dudes. The nerve of you. Nino, $2. Lacia's right. These conversations are becoming redundant. What's going on, big bad boy? Also a member gifted 20 Lapeef memberships. Shout out to you, big bad boy. Thank you, sir. It's always a blessing to have you. And thank you everybody else that has contributed. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Let's make sure we support everybody on the panel. Y'all enjoy. If you do celebrate, y'all enjoy your holidays. If not, we'll catch y'all next time. And we are out.
Thank you.